If you're dealing with a sports injury, UK Healthcare Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine is here to help you get back on your feet. Ranked as high-performing by U.S. News and World Report, the same physicians who take care of UK athletes are here to offer expert sports medicine care for you and your family. UK Healthcare Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine, official healthcare provider for the KHSAA.
Welcome into the Rafferty's and the Coaches Show here live at Rafferty's. And we have a very special guest first up. Coach Meehan's with us. Coach, glad you're alongside as always.
As always, happy to be here with these tremendously handsome human beings sitting here today.
One of those is JP, as I call him, Jared Peck. He is the high school sports beat writer with the Herald Leader. Does a great job. That was a great job you had with the top 100 players.
I appreciate that. It takes quite a bit of effort. We got the top 100 players in today's paper with Cutter Bowley from LCA as our cover man, and we have UK recruits is a big thing for us. So we got UK recruits where they're going to play high school football. So some of the targets and some of the misses we have there, and our city previews in the sports section for all 9 city schools today as well.
Cutter Bowley is about as exciting as having maybe Tim Couch. He's the last quarterback that generated this much excitement. He throws a good football. He is legit, I tell you.
Yeah, and he can make all the throws, as Coach Charles says, and we're looking forward to him. He threw, something like 3,900 yards last year, and he was hurt for a game and a half. He missed a game, and they didn't make it all the way to the finals. Tough game at Mayfield, but he could have easily had a 4,000-yard season had he not missed out a game.
What was it like for you putting together the top 100? I know it was a lot of work, but what was it like really putting all that together?
Well, I sent out a survey to all the coaches, and I get 168 surveys back this year, which is a lot for 223 schools. That's a huge amount.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And you have to consider that only about 96 make the playoffs even. So we got a bunch of teams that don't even make the playoffs that are sending stuff into me. And that starts my list. And generally the coaches, about 70 coaches give me a top 10. Some just vote for their own players. And then some turn in.
I think he's pointing to you, Jayhawk. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Some bring me a full list of things they've researched or just stuff they know. But it's fine. Whatever the coaches do, I'm for, because if other people vote for his players, then that helps them be on the list. And I start with like 200 kids overall from my research, and then I use the coaches to make the top 10, and then we start whittling it down from there.
And how about that? 2 of the top 3 right here in Lexington.
Yeah, and well, the Lexington Herald Leader, you'd figure that, but really my surveys come from all over the state.
Yeah.
But Lexington being a major media market, lots of times they know more about those kids, and the Zuri Madisons and the Cutter Bowleys get a lot of pub.
How strong is the football in Kentucky this year?
The football in Kentucky is strong every year. I mean, it's strong from Pikeville to Mayfield. People say Pikeville to Mayfield, but that's really strong. Paducah Tillman's great. Lexington teams have really come on. Like, we got 5 ranked teams in Lexington. Louisville's always going to be spectacular. But go to Breathitt County. I mean, people love football in this state. We get held as a basketball state. We're a football and a baseball state too, and a softball state. We're every sport. I mean, there's a lot of good sports going on. And I did my soccer previews too. I love all of it, so it's a lot of fun.
Are there any? Go ahead, Joey. Go ahead, Jay.
I said, don't forget about track.
And we've got a ton of track champions as well.
Are there any new teams in Kentucky this year?
New teams, like completely new. W.E.B. Du Bois from Louisville is starting out this year, and they're Lexington Christian's district, which is going to be as a new school, I don't know if I want to be in Lexington Christian.
I don't think I want to play LCA, regardless.
LCA's,
you know,
district, but we're still waiting on Hopkinsville and Christian County to merge. And right now, Christian County is in Class 6A. They'd really be a 4A or 5A school, but when they merge, they're going to be a 6A school.
Are there any new schools thinking about adding football?
Oh, I haven't heard about that yet, no. But it seems like, we just got Sarah a few years ago, and they're a preseason top 10 team in Class A.
Right. Coach Gay, we're on a
When
live
did you-
show.
when-
so
when did you,
right here at Rafferty's. We'll
when
call
did you
back.
start working on it? That was quite a coup, you getting the cover of the Herald Leader. I'm going to tell you that. But you really earned it. When did you start working on this?
Yeah.
Well, the idea for the cover came about is like I'm responsible for one of these covers a year, and it just depends on what it is. And this is like one of the biggest things I do. I do this for basketball as well. And I said, hey, since I have to do a cover, let's do one where I'm already doing a ton of stuff. So I take a month off after softball and baseball finish in mid-June. I take off a month, and then they start back up. Football starts back up like July 7th, and I start back up July 15th. And I let them have 2 weeks of practice, and then I send my survey out, and I email every coach in the state, and I get the initial ones. I'll get a quarterback, and then I'll email them again. It's like, hey, Coach here knows. I send out reminders like, I really need your survey, and I will text coaches, and I will call coaches if I really need their survey. Like if they appear in our top 10, you can't not respond to me.
Right,
I need you.
right.
So sometimes I'll ambush them. I might even have to go to a school to get the survey done, but I get it done, and it takes from having nothing to having this takes me till today. I mean, I finished up the city preview on Friday, and it's in today's paper.
And this was a great article, it really was. But before you go here, we got coaches coming in. We want to talk to them. Talk to us about the Lexington schools. Lexington schools should be really strong this year. You got AA with the Lexington Christian, that'll be a title contender. 3A with Catholic, they'll be a title contender. 5A, we got any 5A schools now?
5A schools now.
Everybody in 6A. So, Douglas is number 1 or 2, depending on the poll you look at. And Days Creek could be much improved. But talk to us about the Lexington schools.
Well, you start with Sarah in Class A. They're no longer in the same district as Pikeville, which is won the state championship 3 of the last 4 years. So you got to imagine they feel great not being in the Pikeville's district.
They might get that first playoff win.
So they looking like a playoff. They could get a playoff win. They're with Berea, Frankfort, and Eminence. That seems like a winnable district for them.
Yeah.
So this could be a huge year, and all their main players are all juniors. So they're still going to get better as the season goes on and into next year because Luke Pendleton, Brock Kaufman, all those players.
Slayball.
They're just Slayball, all juniors this year. So
Right.
and they've been great up to now.
Yeah.
LCA, I expect LCA to if they
It didn't hurt
survive their regular season schedule, which is insane because they play 4 number 1 teams in the first 4 weeks.
But it didn't hurt that they got Brady Hensley on their squad.
It did not hurt to get a first-team All-State running back that has gone for 1,000 each of the last 2 years. But I expect them to contend. They might be on the road in the playoffs, though, because that schedule is not going to help their RPI if they drop a few games.
Right.
It'll help them tremendously if they win those games.
Right.
But that's a big ask for them. And then here in Lexington, I expect Tates Creek to give Dunbar a run for its money on getting. Dunbar's won 3 straight in that district. I think Tates Creek's going to have something to say about that this year.
Yeah.
Henry Clay was in 2 games last year where they lost 22-19.
In the fourth
and it
quarter.
came right down to the end.
Yeah.
And so you can't, even though people think Henry Clay's really down, they were this close last year. And then you got Bryan Station and Douglas. I think they're playing that in a matinee on Saturday, October 14th. They play at noon, those 2 teams. That's been drawing a 5,000 crowd each of the last 2 years. The moment was a little too big for Bryan Station last year when they got to that game, but then they beat Trinity at the end of the year, and I think they thought that was worth it.
Yeah.
And I don't think the moment's going to get too big to them now. We should have man-on-man, a great competition between those 2. And with what happened with the male Trinity and St. X in Class 6A the last few years, they haven't been the overdogs that they've been all the years before. I mean, if you're beating Trinity in the playoff semifinal, and you're beating St. X in the playoff semifinal, it feels like 6A is much more wide open than it's been.
It's
and that's
really
great.
It's really been wide open ever since Bob Beatty retired at Trinity. They haven't been the same Trinity that they were, all the championships he won, and nothing to get the new coach, but he's not Bob Beatty. But anyway, it was great that they got that win over Trinity last year, Brian Stacy. Jared Peck from the Herald Leader with us, and we certainly thank you for your time and everything you do at the Herald Leader, promoting high school sports, or just like William Moorfield at Preston, you try to give us much insight and highlights to kids, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. It's always done this 2 years in a row. It's been great 2 years in a row, and I expect nothing less tonight.
Thank you, Jared Peck. He's with the Herald Leader, and we'll come back with coaches Jonathan Hawks and Demetrius Skay of Henry Clay. We'll be right back after this timeout.
Same MRI, same CT scan, same items, different prices. So why would you pay more for the same thing? Lexington Diagnostic Center and Open MRI can save you 30 to 60% compared to the costs of local hospitals. We have a state-of-the-art facility in the Lexington area. We believe that every patient deserves the best in affordable, quality care. Avoid surprise billing. Come to Lexington Diagnostic Center. Imaging focused on you.
They say that being a Kentuckian makes you unique. At Whitaker Bank, we agree. We've always been unique. Whitaker Bank understands our communities and its people because we're from here. Kentucky owned, Kentucky based, always has been, always will be. Yeah, you could say we are a unique bank, and we're proud of it. Whitaker Bank, uniquely Kentucky.
High school sports are as American as apple pie. And going to a game or meet is a chance to see the stars of tomorrow shine today. But as anybody who's ever attended a high school sporting event in Kentucky knows, you can't have the stars without the stripes. High schools are currently looking for new officials in almost every sport. Who looks good in stripes? Anybody looking for a way to stay connected to a sport they love. If you like the idea of giving back to your community while earning a few extra bucks, chances are you'd look good in stripes too. We want to hear from you. We need to hear from you. No officials means no games. No stripes means no stars. And what kind of America would that be? Kentucky needs more high school officials. Go to highschoolofficials.com to sign up or learn more. That's highschoolofficials.com.
Is your garage a total nightmare? It's time to live the dream with Hello Garage. Imagine pulling into your garage with a beautiful durable floor coating, super strong customized storage and organization. We're talking a total garage makeover, all in just about a day, and all from Hello Garage. Call Hello Garage today for your free estimate and make your dream garage a reality.
Hello Garage.
Before cheering on the Cats at Reps, we always make sure to stop at Clark's Main Street Market for all the essentials. Return, refresh, refuel.
Same shoes, same mixer, same computer, same items, different prices. So why would you pay more for the same thing? Lexington Diagnostic Center and Open MRI can save you 30 to 60% compared to the costs of local hospitals. We have a state-of-the-art facility in the Lexington area. We believe that every patient deserves the best in affordable, quality care. Avoid surprise billing. Come to Lexington Diagnostic Center. Imaging focused on you.
Welcome back to Rafferty's. We got the coaches show tonight, and we had Jared Peck earlier in the hour. We talked to Jared about that great top 100 that he had. And I'm going to ask you, coaches, with us is Jonathan Hawks of Tates Creek, Demetrius Skay of Henry Clay. Did you see the top 100 that Jared put out?
No, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to look
That's
at
what
it
I
as well.
thought. I didn't think either one of them saw it. I don't know about y'all, but he said 170 coaches responded to that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's real good. That's really good. I'll be honest. I was one of them 170s, and so I take pride in helping out Jared. He does a great job.
I want to welcome you guys into the Rafferty's second annual. This is second year we've done the show. Both you guys won last year. Did a great job. Henry Clay, sort of a snake-bitten team. He lost a couple games in the last quarter, last plays of the game. You could have had a tremendous season. You had a pretty, and then Jayhawk, you really came on strong last year, didn't you? You really had a strong finish last year.
Yes, sir. Kids, towards the end, and Demetrius is a really good friend of mine, so I competitively, I didn't want him to beat me. We always, I say, we go back and forth in track, but as a team, I just wanted our kids to fight hard, and I wanted us to have a good game against those guys, because I thought Demetrius did a great job last year with that team. I thought they were a solid group, and so, for us, we finished strong, but playing games like we played against Henry Clay prepared us for that last game stretch.
Coach Gay and your team, I know you weren't happy with the record, but a lot of times, the one-loss record doesn't tell you the type of team that you have.
I didn't. We kind of started our season off kind of rough. We won our first game, but then our quarterback went down. So, we was playing a few games with our backup quarterback last year. And, we still fought in every game that we went out and played. And that's what you want out of the kids, just keep fighting every single game.
Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, this is for both of you. We'll start with you, Demetrius. I was thinking about this the other day. Other than the skill on the field and the performance in the classroom, what intangibles do you look for a player on your team? What do you want them to be like on the field?
Kind of had this situation, scrimmage last week. Want you to be intense, but keep the intensity, bottled up a little bit. We had a kid that got one of my, I guess you can say your better kids. You wouldn't think he would do this kind of stuff, but, inside those white lines, kids are different, and the official kind of, bark at him a little bit. And but you kind of want those kind of kids, it kind of gets the morale of the team up and gets the juices flowing for all those guys.
I want to ask you guys, both of you coaches, about the there's your Mingy beef jerky.
Thank you.
You get to take that home, and I want some teriyaki. You got any teriyaki?
That's all I got, sweet and hot right now.
I want some teriyaki. Anyway, talk about your returning players and players that you count on that may be captains on your football teams this year, and your coaches too. Tell us about your assistant coach. Let's start with you, Jayhawk.
Well, actually, today it's kind of funny you asked that question. We just did our captain ceremony today. We practice on Sundays, and so today we chose 5 captains, and those guys were Devin Young, Logan Julian, and Andrew Witherington.
He's your quarterback, right?
Quarterback, yes, sir. And then we had 2 other guys that are actually juniors that the team picked, and one of them was Detrell Johnson and Gavin Belcher. So those guys will be our 5 captains for the year. As far as coaches, honestly, I feel like I have a really great staff. They do a great job overall, to be honest. I do a lot of work, and I challenge them in the process. I tell them all the time, you'll never outwork me. But that mentality has really started to uplift our coaching staff. I show up sometimes, they beat me to the office, and it makes me mad, right? So I'll come a little earlier. Yeah. But they do a great job, from the top to the bottom. All of our coaches are awesome guys.
A lot of people don't know the history of me and Jonathan Hawks, but we go way back to our horseman days.
Yes,
you and I took a road trip together for a horseman game, and also you did a radio show with me for several years on VOK.
Yep.
You're my co-host and did a great job on that.
I tried.
So you're one of my best friends in coaching, and it's hard for me not to but I can't be partial towards you because I got this Scholastic Ball Report, and Coach Gay knows about that. I get everybody on that. So, but it's going to be a fun year watching you, Jayhawk, and how you progress as a man and as a coach. It's really going to be fun to watch you.
I appreciate that, Gary.
And Demetrius, tell us about your captains and your coaches and all that.
Well, really, I'm not like Coach Hawks. He picks his captain. I let my seniors, they do everything. I let them lead. And we just go from there. At the end of the year, we kind of pick who our main guys are as far as team leaders. But throughout the year, we let our seniors lead. As far as coaches, I've had my staff with me now for this group for a couple of years, and they do a great job of teaching kids. When we get these young kids in, we got to do a lot of teaching. It's a whole lot of teaching. Hawks can tell you, and they do a great job with the young guys, and so the older guys that we have as well can help the coaches. So that's why we lean on our seniors a lot to do things.
And one thing we haven't really talked about, Coach Meehan, is the schedules for both these teams.
Tell me a little bit about your schedule, but first tell me a little bit more about your first game.
So we had the scrimmage this past week. This is why this actually works out. He's actually seen me all summer. We've been at Henry Clay practicing all summer because we haven't had a field.
Right.
They were resurfacing our turf. But we had a scrimmage this past week, and it gave us a kind of an indication of what things we still need to clean up. If you had to base it off of performance, our kids are improving a whole lot, but going into this Eastern game, it's little things that we need to tweak and really, focus on. And so I think Eastern will be a really good team, a really good first opponent for us. I think that they'll be fast. I think they'll have some athletes on the team. But for us, honestly, I'm just focusing on us right now. I'm not worried so much about what they have, more so about what we can do. What little things we need to improve on. Of course, during this time of year, we only been in pads a few weeks. So, I definitely want to make sure our kids are in better shape going into this game. I'm a track coach, so I love to make sure our kids is running.
Speaking of track, Andrew Witherington was a 300 champion or something. That guy he can fly, can't he?
So the quarterback ran, I call him the quarterback, but Andrew ran this past Friday a little bit more against the Scott team, and at the end of the game, the coach came to me and said, "Does that kid right there run track? Because he's pretty fast." And I started laughing.
He ran track. He ran track.
So, he runs track. But I also go back and I tell the story about how Andrew started running track. I coached his sister. She was on my state championship team.
He told me that story on the show, the Ball Report last year.
Yeah. So
he said he wasn't even going to run, and then he went and he decided after he talked to you that he's going to give it a try, and now he's a superstar, isn't he?
He went to the state meet this year and got 7th place in the 300 hurdles and wants to win the hurdles this year. I said, okay, Andrew, let's get through football first. He wants to win the hurdles.
That's right.
We have a tough schedule. I think personally,
I'll pull it up.
Oh, I know it by heart. But we have a tough stretch right in the middle of the season, and it preps us really for what we're going to face going into the playoffs. But the design behind it is I want our kids to be able to play teams in Louisville and start getting prepped to play higher impact teams even in later years as long as I'm coaching here.
Let me talk about it for you, Coach. Do you mind? You open up with Eastern.
Yes, sir.
And then you play, that's an athletic team you play.
Yep.
Then you play Madison Southern at Southern.
Yep.
And that's because you don't have the field, right?
No, that was just by design.
Your field's ready?
We'll be back on it next week.
And then you play North Odom, Frederick Douglass at Douglass, Bryan Station, Ballard, Dunbar, Henry Clay, and then you play West Chester. That's a pretty stacked schedule, Coach.
Lafayette now. Lafayette, then it'll be West Chester, I think.
Can't find Lafayette on the schedule?
Not on this schedule.
Uh-oh.
They on there.
But you got them. Hey, they on there.
District teams.
They're somewhere on there. Okay, yeah. Tell me a little bit about, you said about playing Louisville teams, right? Do they sometimes, if you don't do that, do they kind of feel like maybe they're playing up instead of playing even? You know what I mean?
I think for me it's more a mind thing with our kids, because I know the direction I want the program to go into. And in order for me to get them out of this mindset of looking at jerseys, every time they play against the city team, the first thing they do is they want to call out a specific player's name. Like, I know this guy and I know that guy, right? But I also recognized last season when those kids played against teams that they didn't know, they played a lot harder. And I got to get us better. It don't matter who we play. You guys got to go and fight, regardless of what that jersey says. And so I think last year really helped me with that. And then this year, even getting out of the city, going and playing those teams, it's helping us with the mentality that I'm trying to create, for our guys.
Coach Gay, do you see that your team plays a little harder when they play a team they're not familiar with?
Sometimes, but when you play a city school, they want that pride. We beat y'all, and they can talk about it for years. That me being a city guy, I can talk about that kind of stuff too. Guys I played against in high school, so it's kind of a pride thing.
You open up with Fleming County, What do you know about them, if anything?
Pretty tough. They went 7-5 last year. I watched some film on them. They got some couple good athletes and big offensive line, so it's going to be a good test for us.
Then Cooper.
Yeah, in Cooper.
I know we don't want to look ahead, but we do want to look at your schedule. So I got to look ahead, guys. I'm sorry. And then you got Gray Crossing, much improved, and then George Rogers Clark, then Madison Southern, then Bryan Station, then Lafayette, and then Dunbar. Then you're at Tate's Creek and at Southwestern. Both you guys have just it's a gauntlet, isn't it? A gauntlet of teams.
It is, and you want to play teams that, one, that you can be competitive against, and two, that the kids will go and play hard against. So that's why we got the schedule we have.
Well, you have to feel pretty good that your quarterback's back and he's healthy, right?
Well, no, he graduated.
Okay.
Got a kid named Rowan Taylor. He's one of my track kids.
Okay. And, another track kid.
Oh yeah. Oh, we go at it in track.
Oh, yeah.
So. But he's a junior this year. He got some time last year, but his main focus last year, he was our placeholder, but now he's our starter, and he's been doing a good job so far in 7-on-7 in the scrimmage we had this past Friday.
Is Brick still coaching with you out there, Griffin?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Coach Briggs, he helps with the offensive line, and he does a great job with those guys.
We've known Griffin since what, Coach? He's a little young
kid. Come up to the press box and talk to us all the time. Absolutely.
It's funny that he actually played for me as well. So I've been.
I still got a picture of him when he was when I was playing for the Horsemen. He used to always come around. He's real small, then he grew big.
Yeah, he's big now. Yeah.
He used to shake that little shaker and stuff and come to every practice. So it's for me. It's amazing seeing him grow into the man he's become. You got a great coach.
He does a great job with those guys. A good X and O guy, and it's kind of intense. And kids love it. Kids love it.
Yeah, he's a player's coach, isn't he?
He is.
He really is, and. Let's talk a little about your passing game. You kind of, in that game last year, you won on the last play of the game. You threw to Douthit, I believe, was wide open.
Yep.
And I know you're real big on your receivers because that's what you play.
Oh, yeah.
So how you looking in the passing game this year?
The great thing about, being a head coach is that I had to learn how to become a head coach as far as my experience in being a head track coach and all that. It's different when you become the football coach because I'm so used to being the position coach, wide receiver coach, right? And last year, I brought on Omar Black, who is one of my assistant coaches that I truly pour my heart into because he took over the receivers. And when I tell you, I trust him. And it took me a while because I had to understand he played Division I football himself. So, but just watching him learn from the things that I was doing and implementing a lot of the stuff that I taught him into the work ethic with those kids. He's with those kids just as much as I am, if not more, doing a lot of skill work development. And when I talk to people about him, I say he's really devoted his time to give to these kids the same way I would. And so I have to trust that those kids are going to be taken care of when it comes to being on the field. So Andrew has a nice squad of receivers. We have some young guys, 2 twins. JT and Luke Cooper, they're sophomores. They're going to be really impactful for us this year. JT got hurt during baseball this summer, so he'll be back. Both of them about 6'3". You remember Jackson Bierman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're similar to what Jackson, so the same size Jackson was as a sophomore. Those 2
Bierman
twins
was really good.
And
really
I had to take him, same way with Jackson. So these twins kind of remind me of him, and they're going to be outstanding receivers. But then we have our older guys, Mason Jackson. He's more of a tight end now, but he's 6'2", 6'3", can catch the ball really well. And Thomas Siegler, he was on your show last year.
Yeah, and he was star of the game.
Yep. So and Thomas is
Lafayette.
He's another one. He's a hard worker. One of the most skilled receivers we have. And then we got some new guys. Brody Dunham, who's a baseball player that's come out to us, 6'3", 6'4" kid again. We got some guys that can play, and we really want to be able to pass the ball as much as we can against good teams, and I don't know. I'm excited for this year.
Hey, Coach Gay, they often say in preseason the offense had caught up with the defense, hadn't caught up with. Would you say that you're close to that, or you're working on that, or what's
it's a work in progress every week. The offensive guys and coaches are doing a great job of trying to figure out and understanding what our coach wants out of what we're doing, and for the most part, they're doing a great job right now.
Are you excited about this year?
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
I can tell. I know he is too. It's really fun. And what Jonathan said over there really rings a bell with me too. One of the mistakes that a lot of new coaches, head coaches make, they don't trust their assistants. They feel like I got to do everything. And you know now, you can't do everything.
Well, trust me. I know. I let my coaches coach, and I still work with, receivers and defensive backs, but my other coaches, while I'm over doing my individual stuff, they're over there by themselves. I let them do what they got to do.
Do you have an offensive and a defensive coordinator? Are you one of them?
I call the defense.
Okay.
And then I've got, a guy named Jake Ryan who calls the offense.
One of my former
go.
players. That's crazy. All them maroon guys, like
Ryan,
Jake Ryan.
He's blue and gold guy.
Nah, he ain't. He believes maroon.
Yeah, but I let them guys coach. I don't. If I need to say something, I will. But the majority of the time, I just let those guys coach. Let them call the plays and what they need.
And something that hasn't gone unnoticed to me is I think it's great that Fayette County finally hired some African American head coaches. We got two of them sitting right here, two of the best, Demetrius Gay and Jonathan Hawks. And I think did I say Jefferson County? I mean Fayette County.
Fayette County.
Yeah, I said Fayette County. I don't know what Jefferson County's on my mind. I guess because all the busing issues they had or something. I don't know why.
Oh my gosh.
It was terrible. Kids are getting home at 9:30 at night.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But anyway, and that's something I know hasn't gone unnoticed to you guys either. You notice that.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Not to mention we're two African American track coaches as well. So
right.
Which is great, and I can say two very productive coaches.
Right.
We've got a lot of state titles and a lot of individual state titles, and
state records.
State records as well.
I admit, as getting an opportunity to be the head football coach, I wouldn't have been able to tell you if this would have been a possibility for me. 10 years ago, my mind has always just been focused on the kids, right? And so when I stepped away from football to focus on my master's degree, for those 3 years, I really took time to grow as a man.
Yeah.
First, as I was still being a track coach, I was still utilizing some things within track. I knew I wanted to go back and coach football, but I needed to be better in how my time management, everything else, in order to give to the kids fully without feeling like I'm still not doing enough for myself outside of just sports, right? So this year was, I've taken a step back and I've allowed my coaches to coach. We have an offense coordinator now, we have a defense coordinator now, and being able to actually sit back and coach and do the things that I need to do off the field. We've created so many different programs for our kids. We have a food pantry. We have a freezer that we partner with some different community partners to help fund that freezer so we can make sure that our families, if we need them, they got food that they can get from us. We just got so many different things that we're doing that I've been able to utilize my community service and the connections I have in the community to help service our kids and their families as well.
Well, those 3 years you took to get that degree, that really helped you, Jayhawk. I know I see it in you, a growth since I met you with the Horsemen 10 years, 12 years ago, the growth you made. And I know Coach K's in it too. And,
oh, yeah.
And it's really out. And I really appreciate what you do for the community, the outreach and everything.
Well, that's what I was going to say too, Gary. Being an African-American head coach, that's great. That to us, you guys are just coaches.
Yeah, right.
Honest to goodness, it's amazing. A lot of that, I think, comes from where I grew up in Pittsburgh area because there were a lot of that even back then. But the thing that amazes me and the thing that the responsibility that you have as leaders in the community, it's wonderful. I hear nothing but good things about both of you in the community. And I think that, to me, that's more important than just about anything right now.
And I'll let Coach Gay go ahead and go, Coach.
Yeah, me and him, we started a long time ago coaching against each other. And over the years, we've become real good friends.
Yeah.
Real good friends. And we kind of feed off each other on certain things. And, what he's doing over at Chase Creek is just awesome. I've been through the locker room and stuff and seeing how he's had to build it up, it's just awesome. And what he's doing with the guys and taking them out in the community, it's an awesome thing.
And I was going to say, vice versa, when our field was getting tore up, they said, where do you want to go practice? And immediately I called Demetrius, like, hey, can I come over there with you, right?
Yeah.
And, it's because I trust them, I love them.
Well, that's where it pays to have good friends and coaching,
doesn't
it?
Right. Yeah, seriously. And, there was times that field would be soaking wet. They have a second field that we can go to, and honestly, for him to say, man, I'll share half the field with you, and some people would say, are you scared they're going to look at your plays? I said, it don't matter. We still got to play against each other. We still got to play
That's
hard.
right.
So even if they got our plays, it don't matter. Like, ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying? We still got to play, play our game. And so it's been an awesome opportunity for me to get to know Demetrius over the last, over a decade, right? And being from Georgia, not really understanding how Kentucky really worked when I first got here, this guy right here really helped show me how to change some different things in the way I thought, and kind of just, bring it to light on where I'm at and how I can adjust in my coaching here.
We got about 5 minutes left on this coach's segment with you guys, and we're bringing Philip Hawkins and Coach McPeak at Douglas. But what do you see, not really predicting the future, I don't want you to do that, I know we can't do that, but what do you see as Kentucky football grows? What do you see for Tates Creek and for Henry Clay as you look at Kentucky high school football?
I'll be kind of just straight up, Gary. I want to be a program that people see not only on the field but the off the field impact that we're making in our community. And I want to bring families together. I want to bring our community closer, and using football as a tool, the same way I had a dream, to make it to the NFL, and the same goal I had for myself as a child. I don't want my identity for my kids to be wrapped up in the game of football. So service and servicing others is what I preach a lot of. And so I want to wrap my arms around our entire community, but ultimately impacting the city of Lexington. And I'm just, I see the direction we're moving into, and our kids and our families are really working hard in this goal that I have, and I'm thankful for it. So I think the impact overall in the state, I hope that the actions are louder than the words I speak.
And they're responding very favorably to you as well.
Yes, sir.
Coach Gay, about you think about Henry Clay?
I kind of, being a former Blue Devil and been coaching for so long there, I get the program back to where it was. It was at one point, it was one of the hottest teams in the state of Kentucky. And,
one of the best playoff games Coach Meehan and I did. We went down to Meade County.
That was the best.
Hey, remember what I'm talking about?
Sure do.
And the kid from Meade County stopped you at the 1 foot line, or you would have won the playoff game. It was a great game.
I remember like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I do too.
But I want to get that back to Henry Clay. And it starts with what we're doing with our coaches and what the coaches are doing with these young kids. And I think once we can get those guys rolling, go in the building, get a lot more kids out. Right now we're at about 70-some kids. Where we used to have over 100-some kids. So I want to try to get that back at Henry Clay. He's doing a good job at Tates Creek with all the getting more kids out. I want to try to get that at Henry Clay as well.
I'm not blowing smoke when I say Tates Creek's in great hands with Jonathan Hawk. They're in great hands with Demetrius Gay at Henry Clay. You guys do a tremendous job, and the wins and losses will come. The wins will come.
Yeah,
that's no doubt.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, I'm ready. Let's go right
you
now.
want the helmet, don't you? He played in Kentucky, so he can
These
play.
guys get me fired up, man.
Yeah.
And I can't wait till you two play each other.
Always going to be a barn.
Yeah, we might have to try to get that. Where's that at? Henry Clay or Tates Creek?
Tates Creek.
We might have to try to get that one on press spin, we try to do that. And, Jonathan Hawks, Demetrius Gay, thanks for joining us on the show. We've enjoyed it, the second year of the Coaches Show, and good luck to both you guys this season, and best of luck to everything you do.
I appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much.
Jonathan Hawks, Demetrius Gay on the Coaches Show. We'll come back with Philip Hawkins and Coach McPeak after this timeout. Want to get a picture, King?
It's raining out there.
PrepSpin would like to thank these amazing partners. Mingy Beef Jerky, the official game day snack of PrepSpin. UK Healthcare Sports Medicine. Whitaker Bank, uniquely Kentucky. Clark's Pump and Shop, return, refresh, refuel. Hallway Feeds. Atkinson, Sims, and Commode PLLC. Axia Women's Health, Lexington's Women's Health. The BIM Group. Crown Trophy. Howard Real Estate. Ken's Autos over in Paris. Jimmy's Kentucky Roadshow. Lexington Diagnostic Center and Open MRI. New South Professional Wrestling. Rafferty's. White Greer and Maggard Orthodontics. Hello Garage of Central Kentucky. And by the Scholastic Ball Report, celebrating 20 years on TV.
Garage a total nightmare? Live the dream with Hello Garage. We're talking flooring, storage, and more, all in just about a day. Call Hello Garage today to make your dream garage makeover a reality.
Hello Garage.
Our adventures always start at Clark's Pump and Shop.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Neighbor helping neighbor. At Whitaker Bank, we believe in giving back to our communities. Through our many sponsorships, we help provide our fellow Kentuckians with family-friendly fun and events, and scholarships to help students reach their dreams. We know you need banking to be fast and easy. We help with personalized services like mobile deposit. Get the app today and snap, deposit. Whitaker Bank, uniquely Kentucky.
Kids deserve the space to grow, to play, to explore. And if they get sick or hurt, they deserve a hospital devoted to them. This is our promise, the most advanced care possible, with doctors, nurses, therapists, and surgeons who specialize in getting kids back to simply being kids again. We are UK Healthcare's Kentucky Children's Hospital. And for us, the power of advanced medicine is more than saving lives. It's saving lifetimes.
Neighbor helping neighbor. At Whitaker Bank, we believe in giving back to our communities. Through our many sponsorships, we help provide our fellow Kentuckians with family-friendly fun and events, and scholarships to help students reach their dreams. We're invested in Kentucky, and more importantly, in you. Whitaker Bank understands our communities and its people because we're from here. Whitaker Bank, uniquely Kentucky.
If you're dealing with a sports injury, UK Healthcare Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine is here to help you get back on your feet. Ranked as high performing by US News and World Report, the same physicians who take care of UK athletes are here to offer expert sports medicine care for you and your family. UK Healthcare Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine, official healthcare provider for the KHSAA.
Welcome back to the Coach's Show here at Rafferty's with Mike Meehan. And Coach, how you doing?
Doing great. Enjoying this so much.
I know.
This is the second year in a row we've done this. I
Yeah.
think it's a good deal for the coaches to talk about their teams and for the community to hear about these.
That's right. And it's Coach McPeak with us, head coach at Frederick Douglass. They won the state championship last year. I was there at Kroger Field. I called the games for the KHSAA, and that was you guys put on the show. 28-7. I mean, you put on the show, Coach.
Yeah, well, first off, thanks for having me. Thanks for, what you guys are doing for, all the athletes in Central Kentucky. You guys do a great job. So I know Mr. Peck's back there too, so he does a great job as well with all the knowledge and everything for all these athletes. So appreciate what you guys do. Yeah, I mean, we were elite defensively last year. Me personally, this is my 20th year in coaching. I've never seen a defense like that. They were fun to watch from my perspective, not fun if you were going against them.
Yep.
Coach Jeff Poe does a great job with our defense. He's very, very complex in what he does, very organized. He studies the game unlike no other. Obviously I don't micromanage our guys. So it was anytime you give up 5 points a game, that's historic when you're playing as many games as we play. So we were great at all three levels. Obviously, we had several Division I guys on defense.
Led by Ty Bryant.
Ty's at Kentucky, and then, Kenny's at Findlay, which is a really good D2 school. Jalen Hand, a D lineman's at Western. Harkless is at Purdue. And we just had a lot of really good players at all three levels when you look at what we had. And obviously, we have both our corners back this year that are Division I guys, with Terry On going to Northwestern and Jeremiah just committed to Michigan. But that doesn't happen just by talent. I mean, they are talented kids, but they work really hard, and we require a lot of hard work. And but yeah, it was awesome to finally get that done. We'd been in that game 3 times, and just ball didn't bounce our way, and finally it did. So, it was great to do, and really happy. We had 28 seniors. That are going to go off being 15-0 and champions, and something that they're always going to remember.
Right.
But we're kind of on to the next. That's what you have to be in football. It's what have you done for me lately, and we'll kind of see and go from there for this year.
One player you do have back, and I got to mention him because he doesn't get enough ink on your ball club.
Coach,
you probably know who I'm talking about. Ranvier.
Cooper.
Cooper. Ranvier.
Yeah.
That kid, I tell you what, he is quite a soccer player, but he's a good football player too.
Yeah, he's going to be our starting X receiver this year. So, I mean, he Mr. Peck was at our scrimmage on Friday. He caught a touchdown pass, kicked the PAT, then kicked it to the end zone.
Wow.
So, he hit one. Not a lot of kids can say that.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
That's awesome. And the catch he made was over 2 St. X defenders.
Right.
So, he's a really good athlete. He's
6'2", right?
Yeah, and he's over 200 pounds. Physically, looks the part. So, I'm curious what college is going to take him. Obviously, as a kicker, it's always late with kickers. He's been offered by several people, and still waiting on, like Texas A&M, Ohio State, kind of seeing what happens there with their kicking. And but yeah, he's legit. He's definitely a weapon anytime you put the ball in the 20 in high school.
The transfer portal in the college ranks doesn't seem to affect your players. You get all these kids into college. I mean, they all go to college at Frederick Douglass. I think that's why the kids around the area just say, "Hey, I want to go to Douglass. They'll get me in a good college."
Well, there's a lot of things that go into that. Obviously, there's a lot of talent in other places along with our place.
Yeah, there is.
But there's a lot of player development. Obviously. I have a lot of good connections at the college level. If I don't know them, I normally know somebody that does. And, I think college coaches trust in what we do. And the reason for that is we have players that are going and playing early in their careers. They're used to training hard. They're used to morning practices. They're used to meetings. I try to run it just like a college program, do the best of our ability at the high school level. Obviously, we don't have the budgeting that a lot of other people have, so we make it work. We do the best we can, but that's my number one goal. Is get kids to school that have the ability to do that.
Now, is that coming down to high school? I believe the KHSA is allowing Neil name, image, and likeness, and you guys can start taking advantage of that. I guess everybody can now.
Yeah, you can, but it can't be associated with Douglas. That's the thing about that. It's got to be all on their own. They can't have a Douglas jersey. They can't have a Douglas helmet. So it is a lot different than it is at the college level.
Yeah, does that make any sense to you, Coach?
I don't know. I think it's a birth of a new baby, and it's just see how they develop.
It's definitely a different era.
Let me I had the pleasure of coming over and watching your team practice right there at the end of the season, right before
I appreciate that.
Spoke to him, yeah. Okay, I saw. We've talked about all these skilled players. Let me tell you what. I watched you work with your offensive linemen, and I saw they're big kids, they're strong kids, but quick. Their feet were so quick. I was envious because I wish some of those drills you were doing, I wish we had thought about that back in the 90s. That would have been awesome. But I want to compliment you on that, but also to talk a little bit about your offensive line, not your defensive line, your offensive line.
Well, I appreciate those kind words. Obviously I'm the head coach, but I still coach offensive line because it's that important. And if you were to ask a lot of even our skill guys on our team, they'll come down and do like pass sets and run stuff with our offensive line, just making fun. But to me, that's important that all of our guys kind of know it's a skill set position. Our offensive line is probably our most experienced group, coming back other than maybe our quarterback, because we have D'Amico Kennedy, which will also play D-line, but he played, a lot of games last year at left tackle. And then Zuri Madison has committed to Arkansas, is back. He played obviously in the state championship a year ago. And I rotated a lot of offensive linemen last year that got a lot of experience through the playoffs. Our inside three with Jalen Johnson, Isaac Lightfoot, along with Lavelle Martin in there as well. And then, our left guard is a mix of Jackson Dials and Jackson Meadows. It's like in our scrimmage Friday night, I played 12 guys. So it took me like 2 hours to grade. But that's okay. Along with the other film you got to watch. But I take pride in it because if you're bad there, you're not going to be very good as a football team, especially as an offense. Everything we do offensively is O-line friendly. Every install, everything that we do is making sure that those guys are on the same page. There's no confusion. And that's just part of me playing the position, obviously, and knowing what you have to know. And just getting high school kids to understand that being an offensive lineman is an honor and not a demotion. And a lot of kids have that because it's not involved with the ball. You're not scoring touchdowns, but you really are. If you don't make those blocks and you don't understand the schemes, then it's no different than running a hitch route at receiver. Just they involve the ball. So I try to get our guys to understand that not everybody can do it. It's a skill set. And obviously it's important to me being the head coach, and I still coach it.
Yeah, I think I was very impressed with that and impressed with your whole football team. And I mentioned this when I spoke to the team, that you started out with a different coach and had really good teams, but they've progressed a lot since then. And the word I'm seeing the progression is in the development of the player. You came in as a good athlete, you left as a great athlete. And that's a compliment, not just to you, but to all your staff.
Yeah, for sure. I got a great staff. And, the one thing about the state championship a year ago, I know some coaches, especially when they get, having families like some of our guys do, hey, coach, I love you, but I may ride off to the sunset after this one. And our coaches didn't do that. We only had one staff change from last year's group, which for me is awesome because good coaches are hard to find, as you guys know, especially nowadays. So we pretty much have everybody back intact. 11 guys have worked with me before. So that's really good for, being familiar with what I want and how our practice schedules go and all that. So they do a phenomenal job. We have 148 kids on our roster, 9 through 12. That's a lot. I'm not complaining, but it's still something that you have to plan for. And with that, you got to take those responsibilities. I can't see everything. I can't do everything. So I have to hire a great staff that, is honestly good at my weaknesses. And I try to hire guys that can help me with what I'm not good at. And I think that's what I have right now at Douglas, and it's a big part of why we've been successful.
We do want to talk about your schedule eventually, but I want to ask you something else before that. Your schedule is more of a national schedule. Yes. But, Coach, let's talk a little about your returning players. and your captains. Have you named captains yet?
We have. We just now named them. We have 6 captains. Offensively, we have Cole Carpenter, which is a returning quarterback.
Yep.
D'Amico Kennedy, which is a returning O-line, D-line. We have Darion Neal, which is a returning linebacker. Obviously his older brothers played for me as well. Devin's at Louisville now that transferred from Baylor. And then Darius is a start running back at Georgetown College. And then we have Jaquan Rufus, which is a great kid, outside linebacker that is a great leader for us. Trying to think who else. Jeremiah Lowe, which just committed to Michigan. I think that's 5. And the other one I'm trying to remember, we have another one on defense. Junior Logan Busen, which obviously a lot of people know him from football field, but also a good basketball player. Great kid. He's one of the smartest football players I've ever coached in 20 years. You cannot run a reverse on him. He sees it. He falls into it.
He has a 4.25 GPA, he's a smart kid.
Very
and he's
smart.
also Brent that busts
Brent's.
in the play. Busen that played it. I'm butchering these names. I'm like, Busen that played Lexington Cal.
Yes.
Now Center College right now. He's his younger brother.
Correct. Yes.
And, and about your schedule, Coach, I mean, I don't know. I guess you designed it, right? You
I
just
did.
set it up.
I'm the idiot that did it.
I wasn't going to say that. But what you do, like we had Jayhawk and Coach Gay in here, and they said their schedule is by design. They want to play good teams to get better. Is that what you're thinking? Do you want to play these great teams to get Douglas better for state championship, state playoffs?
Well, that was my vision, and then also, with Fayette County changing the bylaw where we didn't have to play each other, and we only have 3 district games, I had to find 7 games. That's hard to do when you just want a state championship.
A lot of teams don't want to play you.
No. And not just being honest. It's probably, putting this schedule together was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my coaching career. And I really mean that. It was very frustrating. It was time consuming. And, it's stuff that, I heard you mention Bob Beatty before as I was driving in, stuff that he's had to deal with.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not near that degree of multi-state championships and all that, but it was very difficult to find 7 games. We had to play a couple national teams and find, I think we're playing 5 top 10 preseason Kentucky teams that won state championships or they're runner-up. So, piecing it together, it was kind of, I wanted to try to take us to the next era of the schedule and try to make it, more of a national thing and kind of see where we're at. But also it was, I had to do it because there just wasn't a lot of schools that wanted to play.
Well, Coach, when I talk about this schedule, I'm going to say we need to get a white jacket for this for Coach McPeak. Archbishop Hoban. I know a little bit about Hoban because I went up to Akron and did a game between Akron and Hoban, a good football program. Trinity is your second game. Tate's Creek, they're going to be much improved.
Yep.
Then you got Corbin.
At Corbin.
At Corbin.
That's a tough game.
Yeah,
That's
tough
a
game
tough
down
place
there.
to play.
Indianapolis Cathedral, that's a tough team.
Yep.
Madison Central, they're pretty good. And then you got Bryan Station, George Rogers Clark, Boyle County. So what do you think of that schedule, Coach?
Every one of them will test you. And Boyle County will test you right at the end of the season, too.
Sure. Yeah.
With that discipline and the hard-hitting kids and tough. Yeah, Coach, I understand. I mean, you made a lot of phone calls to get that schedule. I can guarantee you that. And I'm sure your assistant coaches were going on.
No, we only have 9 games. So I asked my assistants, over the past couple of weeks, like, obviously there's not any teams that have open date now, but they're like, no, Coach, we're good. We'll take 2 bye weeks with those opponents. So
just take a bye week to play Douglas.
So we'll take. It will hurt our RPI playing 2 out-of-state opponents. Because it is what it is. Those 2 programs in particular will compete for state championships in Ohio and Indiana. Hoban is 40th ranked preseason in the country. I think Cathedral is 70th. So we're playing 2 top 100 programs in the nation, plus all the really good in-state. Corbin Stadium is not going to be ready, according to Coach Greer. So we have the honor of opening that new stadium.
Okay.
And I think they're honoring Roy Kidd that night as well for EKU. and this is the 100th year Corbin's played football, so it will be packed.
Could there be any other thing they could honor that night?
No, so it will definitely be intense.
Yeah.
For me though, like, we're going to be on the road at Trinity, intense. We're basically Hoban's 10 minutes from Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton.
Yeah.
So that's going to be intense. Corbin will be intense. So if we do have to travel on the road in the playoffs because our RPI isn't as good, those are 3 really good road environments that we're going to play in. So, and I explained to really all of our guys, like, we're going to go compete. We want to win every game, but, this is kind of a new shift in our program.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily contribute it to going to 6A. It's just who we have to play.
Yeah.
And those guys are going to be well coached. They got great players. There's not going to be, I think we had 8 running clocks last year. That's not going to be the case this year at all. So I'm really looking forward to that. Should be fun. Should be pretty accurate.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to Coach Hawkins. We'll get him in here we got you a desk.
I'll let him talk.
And Coach Hawkins is with Bryan Station.
What's up?
Coach McPeak with
yes, sir.
With Douglas. And Coach Hawkins, I'm going to ask you what I've been asking Coach McPeak. What about your seniors this year, the leadership on your team? How's that been for you?
I think that this will be the first year that we've had a full senior class of guys, they've been with us for 4 years, and they're pretty mature, and they've certainly gained some experience and won a few football games, and they've taken over our football team, and that's what you would expect from a good senior group, and they've made things pretty easy for us this summer.
Go ahead,
Coach.
One of the other things we were talking about is the way you develop your program, and I had a question specifically for you. What is your same thing I asked one of the other coaches? Other than being good in the classroom and being good on the field, skills, what is the thing that you look for in a player to play for Bryan Station?
Well, I think probably buy-in to what we're trying to do. The kids have to be committed to our vision and what we want to do as a program. So when you get a kid that's dedicated to the classroom, dedicated to his family, it's easy to make them dedicated to the team. And I just think that having kids that are bought in and willing to do what it takes to raise expectations of the program, those are the kids we want to reach out to, and we feel like we have a large number of those kids.
As far as your running backs, you tell them the traffic I just went through in 64, you just got to keep your head up on the swivel like a runner through that traffic.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a little rough getting here.
We appreciate you coming out, Coach. We'll give you a little bit more time. We got some guests scheduled at 8. We'll ask him to hold tight with us, okay? Coach Hawkins is with us and Coach McPeak, and we're talking high school football. And I tell you what, guys, I've never been more excited about a high school football season than I am in 2023. I think there are so many good teams, not only in this city, but in Louisville and in this state around. I think the football is just going to be tremendous. And both you guys comment on the football in the state.
Go ahead, Coach.
Well, I think, certainly there's high-level programs, and it seems like some of those programs that were middle of the road have sort of developed into some high-quality programs, and you see that from the bottom to the top. You're always going to have, in our class, you're going to have Trinity, St. X, and Male that just have a lot of experience being at the top. But, to see 5A, Bowling Green, certainly going to be good every year. Scott County, he seems like he's got it rolling over there.
Yeah.
And of course, LCA here locally, Lexington Catholic, and I think the Lexington schools are headed in the right direction. The Fayette County schools are headed in the right direction, and really we need all the parity we can get in high school football. I hate the Big Three term because that just says that 3 teams in 6A have controlled everything. And I hate that term, and because it needs to be the Big 7 or the Big 8.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of teams that are headed in really good directions, and I think we're one of them. Certainly Douglas is one of them, and it just makes for great football seasons.
Well, I think you guys know I'm good friends with Chris Wolf, the coach at Male, and what Chris always told me is he's got so many good athletes walking around the hallways at Male High School. Somebody said they can't even get to play football. They won't come out. They play other sports, So that's a good problem to have. But you're right. It can't be the top 3. It's got to be the top 7, 7 or 8. There's got to be other teams in that mix. And I think this year is one of those years.
Yeah, and I'll say this, because I've got a lot of friends, obviously nationally, like Coach does, that are football coaches. I have friends in California and friends in all across the country, and overall, when you get out west, there's just not a lot of people playing high school football, and here it's opposite, which is a good thing. It's good to see the football programs here in Fayette County and in the state of Kentucky continue to grow, because I want to keep football going in the right direction.
Right.
It's the safest it's ever been, in my opinion, with all the new rules and the equipment and all that. And, it is the safest. Obviously, it's not foolproof. It's a collision sport. But it is the safest I think it's ever been, especially not even back when I played or Coach played.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, I think there's a lot of there's a lot of parity, top to bottom. Obviously, you have your top teams in each classification dominated by, in our classification, male, St. X and Trinity.
Yeah.
I know for me, he's playing a great schedule as well. I mean, really the only one of those top 6 teams that you're talking about in 6A is male that we don't play. So, I mean, we're going to get to see in the regular season all those top teams. And then obviously there's some teams in 6A that we're not playing that are really good. And when you look at all the local teams with LCA being really good, and it's a good thing.
And, Coach, you talked about Bowling Green in 5A. Their former head coach, Kevin Wallace, takes the St. X job. He wins a state championship last year there with St. X. He's a great coach. That's another guy we know real well, Kevin Wallace. And, you look at Bryan Station, I look at your team, Douglas won state last year. You were so close. I mean, you have Bullet East on the ropes, and you could have gone to the state championship. That has to feel pretty good for your football team coming back. You got a lot of those kids back.
Yeah, I've told people recently that, I was discouraged, obviously losing and being that close to a state championship game opportunity. But ultimately, I walked away thinking about where we came from, 3 years prior to upset about losing a semifinal game that was a pretty good football game.
Right.
So, there's so much positive and upside for our football team walking away from that game that as much as it hurt, I was pretty proud of where our program is, and it just gave us something to build on.
And don't forget, well, I know you won't forget, but everybody here, Coach McPeak, we remember you beat Louisville Trinity last year.
Yeah, that was, that game got us a lot of traction with a lot of people.
A lot of notoriety.
You got to beat teams like that along the way. And it was good for our program, and I think it got us some attention. But it also set an expectation, that station's supposed to win those kind of games a lot, and that's what we want for our program, and that's why they're our week 1.
Yeah, is
we feel like we need to go back and be, just as competitive week 1 as we were week 13 or 14 last year.
Coach McPeak, you said it best. You won state in 5A last year. You won at 15-0. You step up a class of 6A this year. You're preseason number 1 or number 2, depending on the poll you look at. So that's really a good testament to you and your players and everybody at Douglas for the job you do, because those expectations have even followed you to a new class.
Yeah, I mean, I hope those people realize we graduated 28 seniors. But I'm just kidding. And I tell our kids this, and our parents and everybody associated with our program, we're in a pressure-packed program. There's one expectation, and that's it. I like that. Not everybody can coach in it. Not everybody can play in it, and that's just the truth. But I like those expectations. Coach has done a great job at Bryan Station. Obviously, that's a pressure program as well, with the history and the long history of the program, and he's done a great job building it back. But you're right. I mean, the expectation is to have one thing done, and that's just what it is, and that's a credit to a lot of people, a lot of players that have helped build our program the first 6 years. I mean, when I do some of these interviews for this national showcase, we're playing Akron-Hoban on Saturday. None of the media I talk with in Ohio, they're like, you've only been at school 6 years? Like, why are you playing in this? And I'm like, well, because we've had this success, because they just don't know. They just assume we played football for 50 years.
Right.
If they don't know the history of Douglas or the history of the new school. So they're really amazed by that, because in this, for example, this 2-day showcase, Valdosta, Georgia's in it, Massillon, Ohio, St. Edwards out of Cleveland, Center Grove out of Indianapolis, Dinwiddie out of Virginia, and then Glenville out of Cleveland. Those are, if you're a high school football program, those are elite.
Yeah.
Those are elite, some of the most winningest programs in the country. And obviously Massillon is where high school football kind of originated.
Yeah, I think Paul Brown coached there.
Sure.
Paul Brown.
Yeah, and but I'm just using that as an example. Like for me, I was at the first workout of history in 2017. We had 13 players. So I've been there since the school wasn't even finished yet. So for me personally, along with a couple of our coaches that are still there from the original year, I'm going to enjoy this weekend.
Yeah.
I want to go compete against Hoban. We want to win. But just like I told our players, we got to really set back and look at this experience of the growth of our program. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go compete. We're going to have a great game plan. But I'm honored that we were asked to play in this showcase for sure.
Yeah, it is quite an honor.
Will you get to watch any of the other games? Will your kids
We'll take our kids on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go Friday morning. We're going to take them to the NFL Hall of Fame. That's part of the bowl experience.
Wonderful place.
Yeah, and then that's actually the stadium that's connected that the Jets and Browns played in a couple weeks ago. That's where we'll play. And then Friday night we'll go watch Valdosta and Massillon. And then we'll go over to the hotel, get a good night's rest. We won't probably watch the first game. We play the second.
Valdosta, the winningest program, high school program in the nation.
Yep.
And I think Highlands is in the top 5.
Mm-hmm. Mayfield's up there.
Yeah, Mayfield's up there. Yeah, Mayle's up there. But, Coach, I got to ask you your schedule this year. Tell us about your schedule. I know I see, but I'm going to look it up so I'll be able to talk about it too. But tell us about your schedule.
Well, like I said earlier, we open up with Trinity, which
that's an easy game.
Yeah. So we'll make our trip into St. Matthews and play Trinity.
At Trinity.
Yes, at Trinity. The following week, we play in a bowl game down at Boyle.
Yep.
Against Franklin County.
Franklin gonna be tough this year. They usually are.
I'm hoping they are. I mean, that's our goal.
Yeah.
Our scheduling, and then
Bowling Green.
Week 3 is Bowling Green at LCA in a bowl game, and then
yeah, we're doing those games, by the way.
Yeah.
Pretchpin has signed up to do both games, right? William Moorfield.
What game is that?
Bryan Station at LCA, that bowl game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're doing both those games.
The campus bowl.
Yeah,
yes.
we're looking forward to that.
And then Ballard, week 4, and then Tate's Creek, who's much improved.
Yeah, Jonathan Hawks was just with us. Yeah.
And then we get a week off, and then we'll play Henry Clay, and then start district.
Yeah,
which I'm sure you're familiar with our district.
Yeah, the October 14th, you play a team, Frederick Douglass.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, look, I can tell you all about them. They won a 5A state title last year.
Yeah,
and my goal is to win a 6A state
coach.
title this year. So, I mean, as a coach, I wake up in the morning with the intention of winning football games, no different than him. So, on October 14th, it's not going to be any different.
You said something right there that I like. Your attitude has really, and Coach has the same attitude. He wants to win every football game, don't you, Coach?
Sure.
You have been able to get that down to your players. They believe wholeheartedly. They had to believe they're going to win the Trinity game, and you won the Trinity game.
Yeah, I mean, our kids have learned a lot in my first 3 years. Last year starting out the way we did, taking a pretty bad beat down week 1 from Douglas. I mean, we weren't ready for that game. They were. I mean, it is what it is. And going 0-3, many teams at Bryan Station in the past may have laid down.
Yeah.
And then to see them reel
Bounce
off
back.
10 straight, beat Trinity, and be in a very competitive semifinal game that we were there.
So that begs the question: how much did that? You called it a beatdown from Frederick Douglass. Did that propel you and motivate your football team?
I'm not too sure a lot of people understand that when you lose, it should be used as a tool to help you win. down the line.
That's what
There's
they
a
tell me in
reason you
sales.
lost,
They tell me
and
in
you have
sales.
to evaluate.
Yeah, every no is eventually going to be a yes. That's what they tell me.
And that's what you got to do. So
Yeah.
you got to figure out what positive or what can you turn that bad loss into to make things better. And you know, that's what you've got to do to coach a program like this. Is I got to figure out how can I get us winning, how can I keep us winning, how far can we win, and you know, I don't think he's any different. You know, I'm sure he's lost a football game before, so you know, you can't pack it in because you lost a football game.
Right.
So, you know, we like where we are as a program. Our kids wake up in the morning and they expect to win. That's a culture that we've had to revive.
Right.
At Bryan Station. But our kids, that's what they want to do. They want to win. I do, coach and staff.
Coach has got his quarterback back, and I know that kid's a smart kid. He talked about Logan Busey. You got some really smart kids on the station team too. I know Cutright's a good student, and you got some other kids that do with JT Haskins, people like that.
Yeah, I mean our senior group is just a great group of kids, and I don't think people realize how smart of kids they are and how, you know, what they do in the community outside of football. But you know, the Frazier twins are just super kids, and JT Haskins Jr. is a great kid, and Jason Hocker, who's a pretty physical, violent kind of guy during a football game, but he's one of the nicest kids you'll ever meet, you know, away from the football field. And you know, I pride myself in creating that environment with our kids. We ask our kids, when you cross the white line, you got to have a different personality, and
you do,
you know, and if you can teach enough of them to do that, then you can have some successes, and that's the way I was built growing up. Sure, he was. You know, I'm a very nice guy, I think. Yeah. But I'm not so nice, you know, inside of those lines.
Right, when the game starts.
That's my job.
Yeah. Well, I can mention another Bryan Station player that fit that exactly. Back in the 80s, when I was coaching over at Bryan Station, we had Dermonti Dawson.
Right.
Nicest guy in the world. One of the superhuman beings that ever lived. But on the football field, he got a little dirty. He could play hard all the time. All the time.
No, he wasn't dirty, Coach.
Yeah, he's a really super nice guy, and he's a good model for all these kids. They need to understand that you can be great. You can have a great personality, be a caring person away from the game, and it's okay for you to switch it on when you get on a football field. And if you've met him, he is what you think he is. He's just a nice guy. It was a pretty good football player.
Right.
So
And you can go in the Hall of Fame and see his bust, and it really means something.
Anthony Munoz, a good friend of mine, is in that Hall of Fame too. He was the only Bengal until they brought Riley in this year. Hey guys, want to thank our first guests were Jonathan Hawks and Demetrius Gavin Clay. Want to thank Nathan McPeak and Coach Philip Hawkins. You guys do a great job. Next up, by the way, we got LCA coach coming in, Doug Charles, and Lexington Catholic's new coach, Nick Bosch. And I tell you, both of them are going to make some noise in AA and 3A. I really think this year.
Yes, sir.
I do too.
And we really appreciate you guys coming in. Anything else, Coach?
No, I'm just, like I said, I'm excited for the season this year. Both of us old timers been here a while.
Old timers.
We're really looking forward to it.
This will be my 40th year of play-by-play, and working with William on press spins been the best years. What's 10 years I've been doing it for press?
Yeah.
About 10 years, and I even got through my stroke and still doing the game, so I thank the Lord for that. And I appreciate you guys coming and enjoy. We'll do it again next year, but we'll see you guys in the regular season.
We'll
see you over.
Come see us on the 14th.
Yeah, we'll see you. That's when you play.
At noon.
Is that a AAA? Whose place is that at?
It's at Bryan Station.
Is that Bryan Station?
It's a noon kickoff.
That's 3 minutes from my house. So I'll definitely be there.
Okay, William, get it down, William.
Hey, is that an invite to live stream that on Prep Spin, Coach?
I mean, I don't make the rules. You can come to all of our games if you want. I'm not the one that dictates that, but certainly that's going to be fun.
Yeah, we'll try to get that on. Well, thank you guys for your insight, your talk about your football team. It looks like you got a tremendous season coming up for both of you, and we appreciate you talking to us about it.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and wish everybody best of luck and you guys with your schedule this year, and hopefully we can see you over on the farm at some point. I like Coach Hawkins. That's out of my pay grade for that. So, but hopefully we can do that at some point. But appreciate what you guys do. You guys do a great job, and Yeah, it's go time football in the bluegrass.
Yeah,
That's right.
Coach Hawkins, thank you. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you very much.
That's Brian Station and also Frederick Douglass in the house. We'll have LCA and Catholic when we come back. It'll be talking to them. We got all the coaches on tonight on the Coaches Show here at Rafferty's Restaurant with a special is you. Back with this timeout.
Same MRI, same CT scan. Same items, different prices. So why would you pay more for the same thing? Lexington Diagnostic Center and Open MRI can save you 30 to 60% compared to the costs of local hospitals. We have a state-of-the-art facility in the Lexington area. We believe that every patient deserves the best in affordable, quality care. Avoid surprise billing. Come to Lexington Diagnostic Center. Imaging focused on you.
They say that being a Kentuckian makes you unique. At Whitaker Bank, we agree. We've always been unique. Whitaker Bank understands our communities and its people because we're from here. Kentucky owned, Kentucky based, always has been, always will be. Yeah, you could say we are a unique bank, and we're proud of it. Whitaker Bank, uniquely Kentucky.
Before cheering on the Cats at Reps, we always make sure to stop at Clark's Main Street Market for all the essentials. Return, refresh, refuel.
Same shoes, same mixer, same computer, same items, different prices. So why would you pay more for the same thing? Lexington Diagnostic Center and Open MRI can save you 30 to 60% compared to the costs of local hospitals. We have a state-of-the-art facility in the Lexington area. We believe that every patient deserves the best in affordable, quality care. Avoid surprise billing. Come to Lexington Diagnostic Center. Imaging focused on you.
PrepSpin would like to thank these amazing partners. Mingy Beef Jerky, the official game day snack of PrepSpin. UK Healthcare Sports Medicine. Whitaker Bank, uniquely Kentucky. Clark's Pump and Shop, return, refresh, refuel. Hallway Feeds. Atkinson, Sims, and Commode, PLLC. Axia Women's Health, Lexington's Women's Health. The BIM Group. Crown Trophy. Howard Real Estate. Ken's Autos over in Paris. Jimmy's Kentucky Roadshow. Lexington Diagnostic Center and Open MRI. New South Professional Wrestling. Rafferty's. White Greer and Maggard Orthodontics. Hello Garage of Central Kentucky. And by the Scholastic Ball Report, celebrating 20 years on TV.
Garage a total nightmare? Live the dream with Hello Garage. We're talking flooring, storage, and more, all in just about a day. Call Hello Garage today to make your dream garage makeover a reality.
Hello Garage.
Our adventures always start at Clark's Pump and Shop.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Neighbor.
Welcome back to the Coaches Show. We're live at Rafferty's with a special, as always, you, right, Coach?
That's exactly right. And these guys are special.
Yeah,
right
they
here.
are. We got Doug Charles, our good friend at LCA, and the new coach, Nick Bosch at Lexington Catholic, one of the teams we know a little bit about here in Preston. Welcome in, coaches.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the last year and the positives or negatives that it might impact this season. That has on your season this year.
Well, we were a young team. Previous year we graduated 16 seniors, and 5 of them went on to play Division I, and lost a lot of leadership, a lot of experience. And last year we had 10 seniors, and so we had a smaller class, and it was there were a lot of shoes to fill, and the schedule that we play year in year out, our guys got to be ready, and so we got rocked a little bit, and we went through a lot of injuries. You talk about injuries, it's part of the game. You think you're X in August, and then time you get to October, you figure out you've had 22 kids miss 2 or more games, and they're already gauntlet schedule. So, but like I tell our guys, nobody cares, man. We just got to go get it best. But I think that's helped us. The fact that we've got 21 seniors this year, and so we're more veteran, and we've had a great off season. Our leadership has been fantastic, and we're excited to get started on another difficult path.
And one thing you got Cutter Bowley. He's a pretty good quarterback, and you've got Jackson Watson. He's a pretty good quarterback coach. And what do you think each one will bring to the program that will help you immensely from last year?
Well, I think one thing that's been really a big help for us is obviously the whirlwind around Cutter's recruiting and all that, and the fact that he got that nailed down and committed to Kentucky, and that was it was just good for him, just a weight off his shoulders, and that whole process could be really, really grinding on a kid and a family, and so that's a good thing. But the fact, again, I've shared with people, he came in from an offense that was a wing tee oriented offense, run offense. He threw 108 passes in 12 games his sophomore year. So, he'd never been accustomed, other than some 7-on-7 and throw-arounds in any kind of really spread offense. He was under center 90% of the time. So, the fact that, just the learning curve of terminology and install the offense, and just getting to know our guys and, just our staff and all that kind of stuff, he is so much more confident right now in what he's doing. And, obviously he has, elite talent, and, he's a great kid, and he's a consummate leader.
And Coach Nick Bosch of Lexington Catholic, welcome to Lexington and welcome into the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You've got a pretty good quarterback of your own. Everybody talks about his size, but you really can't. Doug Flutie was 5'9" or 5'8", and there's been Drew Brees was 5'10". You can't really measure. Coach's quarterback is in his sock feet is 6'5", but you really can't measure a quarterback by his size.
Well, I say that when I saw Jackson on film before I took the job, I was like, okay, he's smaller. In person, I think he's grown since last season too as well. So he's got heart. That's the biggest thing about Jackson is he'll play. He took some shots last year and got up. So this year he's doing a good job managing the team. He's more comfortable managing the team. So I think that's a great thing of playing as a junior. He's had that experience under the Friday Night Lights. We're not turning it over to him this year, and having to get that experience of game managing, being a leader, being the guy that everybody looks at when things are getting wrong. So he's done it for a season. Now we got to continue to build on everything he did last year, become better this year.
Well, we talked about your quarterbacks. Both they've talked about Cutter Bowley. You've talked about Jackson, but we both know that it all starts in the trenches. Both the coaches just on with us. One's an offensive line coach and the other's more defensive. But I tell you, it always starts with your up front. You've got a really good center in Schlarman. You've got some really good offensive linemen at Lexington Christian that you're really proud of, aren't you?
We are. There's a lot of old coach speak, and one of them is no line, no shine.
Right.
We feel pretty good about our experience coming back. We got 5 guys, 4 guys of our starters that are returning. We've got good size, good knowledge of what we do schematically. Our size, we're probably 6'3", 265 average across the front, they just understand and have played together a long time. And in fact, we only have one senior. Three of them are sophomores. 3 of our starting guys are sophomores or juniors this year. So we only have one senior. So we feel pretty good about up front on both sides. But to your point, that's where it happens at every level. I don't care if it's Pee Wee or whatever. You got guys that can control the line of scrimmage. I can generally watch a game of any level in 4 or 5 minutes and tell you what's likely getting ready to happen.
And they got to be proud of what they do.
Oh, yeah.
You got to, and everybody on the team has to know that they need those guys.
Yes, for sure.
And you've got, of course, Joe Schlarman, the son of course, the late John Schlarman, but he's going to be a great player. But you got Cannon Mackley up there too, plays both ways. Who's that big tackle that I saw on film for you? 71, I think.
70, Charlie Lush.
Yeah, Charlie Lush.
70, he is 71. That's my fault. Yeah, Charlie Lush. So he has had a great summer. He's probably one of the most I've been surprised of the strides he's made from when I started in spring to where he's at now. I look forward to him having a big year. But yeah, Joe's a leader. Football's in his blood, and he kind of controls that unit. But Cannon plays much bigger than he is.
Yep.
And that's a great thing about Cannon. I love the trenches. That's where my heart is. I was an offensive lineman in high school.
Yeah.
So I'm on defense now, but I want to take care of those guys, but I understand that we only go as far as they take us. So.
Well, you coached with Kevin Wallace, who's a really good friend of ours. Bill Ransdale and I used to call the state championships at Bowling Green every time we stop and have breakfast with Kevin and have a good greasy spoon breakfast and talk with Kevin Wallace. I tell you what, he's a great guy to talk football with. Really is. So you had a great, really mentor, didn't you?
Absolutely. So, he kind of took me under my wing at Bowling Green High School. I started with him.
Yeah, Bowling Green, that's right.
I started there for 3 years with him. I actually left and went to my alma mater the year before him, and he followed me at St. X the next year. And the first thing he said to me was, I can't put a coaching staff together without you on it. So he got me back into coaching football, and he's awesome, and there's a reason why he's had the success he's had. I've learned so much from him. Coming from St. X when I started at Bowling Green, I always made the comment of he ran things that reminded me of the way St. X did it. So it made me really enjoy that program, enjoy that tradition that he built down there. And then he brought his ways up to St. X, and it was great to learn that. This has helped me transition. I saw the struggles he had coming in as a head coach to a private school. It's different.
Yep.
And just for me to be able to watch that, him mentor me, him show me the ropes of giving me opportunities, different things that go be successful. So it's been really good for me.
A little bird told me, actually a big bird, a really good friend of mine that you coach with at Bowling Green, told me that you have some serious skills coaching special teams. Talk a little bit about that.
So that was something that I enjoyed doing once I got to college. I was a walk-on fullback at Western Kentucky, and the only way to get on the field is by special teams.
Yep.
So I really took a hankering in for special teams then. I'd always listen to what Bill Cowher said, that special teams coordinator is the only one that addresses an offense and defense together. So they're the most ready to be a head coach. So once I heard that, it was kind of my thing of diving into special teams. And it's so fun. It's the biggest change of field position in the ball game. So, making sure that you put importance on special teams, studying it, making sure guys are schooled, and playing the best players on special teams is a big part of my philosophy too as well. So
that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, it'd be fun to watch these two play each other because, of course, Catholic and LC always play the Holy War, that they call it, and that's always a big battle, Coach. And we got that again on Prep Spin.
Oh, yeah, it's good. He's talking about special teams. I tell our guys every year, that's why they call them special. They win or lose you football games.
Oh, easily.
A lot of people look at it as an afterthought. It's one of the 3 phases. And, I always track field position, and we had Dobbs forever, and, our average starting field position was 17 yards in 2021, 22. Better than our opponent, and that makes a lot of difference over a 15-game season.
Yeah.
You have, of course, returning. We already talked about Cutter at quarterback. You have Parker Chaney returning. They're real good. He kind of burst on the scene as a sophomore with that big touchdown in the state championship game. But you also have a running back. He was a 2-year 1,000-yard rusher for Central, Brady Hensley. I know his dad real well. I'm sure you talked to his dad about me. When he coached at Dunbar, so I got to know him.
Yes.
But that must be nice getting either one of you guys like getting those guys like that in your school, don't you, Brady Hensley?
Well, sure. You know, it's Brady. I've known his family for years. David and I coached against each other in middle school when he left the varsity ranks, and he went up with those guys, and we've been close friends for a long time.
Yep.
And they've been trying to get into LCA for 3 years, but they just couldn't because they couldn't get their house sold, and there's a bigger deal. So they made all that stuff happen and decided to come on over. And of course, we welcome him with open arms. He's a great kid. He fits the culture. He wants to be a youth pastor. I mean, the guy is just a great human being,
kid.
and just so happened that God gave him a lot of gifts, and he does pretty well with what God gave him.
Well, Coach, you look at Catholic, the Knights. They're a team that we cover quite a bit on Prep-Spin, and LCA. Of course, LCA, you two schools are, well, I better not say that. William might get mad at me for saying what I really want to say. But, Coach, we like these schools. I'll say that.
Just say they're home.
Yeah, but Coach, we Catholic will be over there this Friday. We got the Highlands, so I'll be calling you for your lineup and everything, and your roster. Tell us about Highlands. I mean, Bob Spire's there, and they're pretty good this year.
Yeah, you turn on that film, and then I watched them versus Mail. They've got a very good football team.
Yeah, Binky starts with Binky, their quarterback.
Their running back, and their offensive line is huge. They've got some big boys up front.
You know about that.
And they're a very well coached team. So watching them on film, we got a big challenge ahead of us. And you know what? That's why you come to Catholic, to play in those challenges. And so our guys are looking forward to the challenge, and we're going to go out there and we're going to go out and do our best on Friday night.
That's Friday night after the junior high game, right? The middle school game.
So we are not playing the junior high game.
Okay.
It ended up falling through, so we're just going to do one varsity game
7:30.
on Friday night. 7:30.
Okay, we'll be there. We'll be there with the trailer and everything. We'll be there and Coach, I know we look forward to coming to your place too whenever you have us out there. I mean, we gotta be able to come there, but we're coming out there for that big bowl game.
Oh yeah.
At LCA, and I'm looking forward to that doubleheader out there. There's some really good games.
Yeah, you want to have a bowl, and you want to be able to attract. We play in bowls every year. Our first 3 games this year are bowls.
E-Campus, I think, is.
It's the E-Campus. Matt Montgomery and his group, have done a good job stepping in, underwriting that for us, and.
There we go, Coach. There we go. There's a big graphic for it.
It is,
LCA in Pikeville. That's your alma mater.
That's my alma mater.
And Bryan Station and Bowling Green. That's 2 great games.
It's 2 great games, and it just so happened that as we had to put this thing together, back in February, but it just so happened that Kentucky, somebody had some connection with Kentucky because that game ended up being at noon. We were worried it's their first game. If it could have been a 7 o'clock game, then that would have been a kind of brownout. But it's worked out pretty good, So yeah, we've got that, and you guys will be over. I think Catholic's over week 5, so I know you'll be there.
Let's see. And who do you play on the first? Corbin?
Corbin.
Yeah, we got that game too
Corbin
on Prep-Spin.
Well,
We've got that. So we got Corbin and Catholic on Friday, and those 2 great games Saturday. I mean, what a weekend.
That's a great weekend. No, speaking of weekend,
I don't care if Kentucky's playing or not. That's a great high school football weekend.
I prefer the high school game.
Exactly.
Hey, speaking of the weekend and speaking of Rafferty's, the folks that were sponsoring this thing and they're helping us here tonight. We're playing in our first Rafferty's Bowl.
That's right.
Next, in 6 days.
Saturday night.
I said I don't know who made this schedule we've got. I don't know who's the guy that did that, but we open up with 4 teams that are preseason number 1 in their respective classes. So we open up Bowling Green on the road, which is a daunting task for us. A very well coached, loaded up team.
They got the quarterback back.
And they got all kinds of pieces back with.
I think his name is Deuce something.
Deuce Bailey.
Deuce Bailey.
And he's the truth. He is as advertised. The kid can play, and seen him at some combines and camps. He's legit. And then, of course, we go and play Boyle County in their bowl game, the Rebel Bowl, the following week on the road. And then the next week we host Pikeville. And then the next week we go play 3A preseason number 1 Cal. at Louisville, and then we play. Then we get to host our friends over here, Catholic. So our first game, our first 5 games, it's a pretty tough sledding, but try to manage.
It'll test your kids. It'll test your kids.
Well, hey,
that's what you want, though.
For sure.
That's what you want.
Let's talk about your preseason scrimmages for both teams. Coach Bosch, you scrimmaged Bardstown the other night. You beat them pretty handily. That's a pretty good Bardstown team. And Simon Kenton, that's a pretty good Simon Kenton team up there. Tell us about those scrimmages.
Well, you can take those scrimmages with a grain of salt.
That's what we were saying,
yes. Yes, if you look at the scoreboard, it says one thing, but teams are going in there to get work. There's things that we could have struggled at that Bardstown could have done all game. There's things that we needed to get work at offensively that we tried in that game too as well. It's, that game's not really game planned. You've got somewhat of film on them from the last season, but you don't know personnel from this year. You're really seeing which guys can play for you on Friday night, which guys can handle, making adjustments during the game, which guys can be in condition to go hard, play after play after play.
Won't cramp up.
Absolutely. Me being a new coach with a new coaching staff, it's me learning my coaches.
Yeah.
Learning how our kids respond to adversity.
Who is your coaching staff this year?
So I have maintained most of the coaches from last year.
Okay.
I've added 2 new coaches with me that have come here, joined since I've taken the job as well. So it is a very consistent staff from last year. The guys are going to be around guys that they know. So that's been really good. They've been good to me. They've helped me adjust. They've helped me get to know and build those relationships. I think that's the hardest thing as a head coach is everyone's heart keeps away from you to build those relationships because it's like, oh, that's a head coach. They usually have one from a position coach. So it's been able to help navigate the team too as well. So my guys on my staff have been great for me. Have been great to our kids, and I'm lucky to have them and thankful for everything they do for me.
At LCA, you've been able to keep the staff too. I think Marty Moore left your staff, but I think I think David Hensley joined your staff.
No, David's not on our staff, but Paul Raines. Maybe who you were thinking
How
about.
could I forget Paul Raines?
Paul Raines, 28 guys.
That's
been a head
Ian's
coach
buddy.
28 years, and he's kind of I call him the guy that built, got LCA going. You used to coach. You was on that staff.
Yeah, he coached on the staff at one state. Yeah,
you were. And we felt like defensively that there's some things, and Marty had done a great job for us, and he's a dear friend of mine, and but Mason's playing in the MAC now on Tuesday nights, and with his job, it just became really, really tough. So but as timing would have it, within 48 hours, that the stars lined up, and I reached out to Paul and I said, "Hey, he'd been coaching our middle school anyway. He's been volunteering coaching our middle school offense." And I said, "Hey, I can't think of a better guy. You're the architect. Help get this thing going when it was really just coming out of the ground, and come back and graciously he worked it out, and he's here and he's doing a really, really good job."
I think that's one of the greatest stories that somebody should write sometime, about his step up from Madison Central to Lexington Christian, his finding Jesus, and again, both you schools with Christian schools, me being Catholic myself, are just really proud. And when you two play each other, that's the only time during the year that I feel like I can mention the Lord.
Yeah.
During the broadcast, and it makes me feel good.
Well, we always try to remember at the end of the day, it is that middle C. At the middle of the day, it's a football game. We try to keep things in perspective with the middle C and what we represent and what we try to embody is to be intentional about how we behave and how we do things, and being servant leaders and being the hands and feet of Christ. We've done a lot of off-season stuff. We really look for opportunities to get our kids out there. But yeah, that's part of our mission, and I'm glad you feel that way.
I sincerely do. Yeah, Coach Raines is going to be running that stack defense.
Yeah, he'll run a three front, and he's got his spurs. You know the whole probably.
Oh, I do.
You know the whole deal.
I do. What a great he's a great guy, and he's very intense.
Yes.
On the sideline, very intense. Is he going to be on the sideline or in the press box?
He's going to be on the sidelines.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right. That's exciting.
And he's doing a great job.
Well, I'm impressed with both you guys and what you're trying to do. And again, it's tough to be a head coach. This is your first head coaching job.
Yes, sir.
We talked to the other two coaches, Tate Creek and Henry Clay. This is their second year, but And when you first get that job, I think, and you know this, Doug, head coaches, you don't realize how much you have to do and how you must trust your assistants. You have to have faith in them, and they have to understand and buy into you too.
Absolutely. Well, it helps. You know, like I said, we've got Dave Nurnberg's on our staff too, and Dave's been a head coach. He's been an offensive coordinator. I was familiar with him. So actually, I was assistant athletic director at St. X when he was coaching football up there too as well. So that has helped me adjust to the head coaching role as being in an athletic department. So I've had that administration part of it, but still, there's a lot of things that you just don't think of until it happens. So it's been able to have that help and navigating it. You know, every school's different, so you've got to figure out, you know, the best ways for your program to be successful, because what works somewhere else doesn't work with the kids you have. So it's, like I said, it's specific to that individual school. So yeah, it's been fun. Every day is a new day, which I love, and you know, next year will be a lot easier, but I'm sure there'll be all their new challenges next year too as well.
These seniors on your team have had Nigel Smith as their coach. They had Bathiani, who's at Moeller now, but Cincinnati, and now you as your coach. But it seems like your players really have just adapted really well to each coach, and they're really adapting well to you as a coach.
You know, that senior bunch is resilient. You know, at the end of the day, they love football.
Yeah.
You know, they'll do anything I ask of them. And it's helped me transition too as well, because, you know, I ask them to jump, they'll say how high. It's been a really good group. We've been blessed for that good group, and you know, ultimately they're the leaders, and those leaders build the culture.
Yeah.
So that's a testament to the culture at Lexington Catholic, and you know that's huge. And so we're hoping that trickles down from these seniors, that our juniors take it, they pass it down to those sophomores and freshmen, and really build that program.
Yeah.
So if they watch our seniors, I'm not worried about the future of our program.
I'm looking forward to that game next Friday with Highlands. I think that'll be a great game. Looking forward to your game when you play in that bowl. And I tell you what, I'm excited about the high school football season this year. I mean, Coach will tell you, I call basketball, I do baseball for the KHSA. My favorite by far, guys, is high school football. I could do 3 games, 4 games a week. Love every game. And if we get to start it next Friday on Prep Spin, what a game. Highlands and Lexington Catholic. How about that game?
Yeah, Gary and I look forward to every time just getting in there and watching his big screen. And we have good, William has great camera people and everything's just great. One thing real quick, knowing what your background is working with Wallace, Coach Wallace, and of course your background, even where you played at Pikeville and so on. One word, one word that I think describes both of you from what I've seen and what I've heard is organization. And I think that's one of the keys to a good football program that some people just don't think about.
Well, Coach had to learn that as being an assistant AD at St. X. You got to be organized to be an athletic director at St. X High School. Believe me,
well,
I know
with
that.
Coach Wallace, you have to be.
I know,
He's
and
known for that.
And you had to be organized. The coach would all say, "You should know that, Coach.
Yeah, you do.
You coached there."
Well, you know, to your point, you know, I'm blessed to be surrounded by a lot of great people. I've got a great athletic director,
Terry Johnson.
Terry Johnson, our board. You know, our parents, we get great support from our parents. You know, Oakley Watkins, who's associate head coach, can be a head coach at anywhere. You know, the thing that I think
is he a former player?
No, not here. He just got inducted in the Hall of Fame at Franklin County in football, and he was a captain for Center College.
Okay, I know the name. I just
see we're all paraprofessionals. All of our whole staff. None of us work in the school. But talking
you
about
don't have to work
organization, I think the best advice that I could give people is once you are around people. Oakley and I've been around each other for 10 years at LCA. I've been there 13 years. He's been there 10. Is the smartest thing you do when you trust people is to get out of their way.
Yeah.
What do good coaches want to do?
Yeah.
They want to coach.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to do all the deal, and then you come in there and start, you know, making calls. I mean, there's, you know, I have a voice in game planning. I have input in personnel. But, you know, best thing you can do, and that's what leaders, because I have 270 kids over there playing tackle football. I mean, it's a program.
Wow.
You got to be you're dealing with scheduling and fundraising and equipment and all the different things. So to your point a minute ago, there's a lot of moving parts.
A whole lot of things to organize and keep organized. Same with you.
I mean, it is. Coach Wallace he's organized to a T, and you know I've got to experience it. Like he just said though, it was what he said. His all good saying is hire good people and let them work.
Right.
So I got to learn from that, and
stay out of the way.
Stay out of the way. Well, and, the head coach at Bowling Green right now, Mark Spader, he was on the staff too at Bowling Green when I was there. And the first thing he said to me is, "We're not a whistle group. We're not a micromanager. You don't see a bunch of coaches out here wearing whistles. One person's in charge running it. Everybody else is just coaching." So to learn that style has been really good. And also, I played for 5 different position coaches in college. So there's a whole lot of styles you get to add together from that you like to kind of make it into yours too. So it's, it is. But if you're not organized, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, the girl kicker, is she still kicking?
No, she has got such a big upside in soccer.
Yeah.
And on a national level, she's playing soccer at LCA. Because see, we're still in season, and we have 2 kickers, and she just said, I need to really focus on that. But she's still a big supporter, a big fan. But no, but it was a pretty cool story last year, huh?
Yeah. That was awesome. And then can you touch on Morning on your team, because he had a couple scrimmages for you. Morning,
the running back.
Yeah, Max is a great player. Max runs angry. You love that in a running back. It's in practice.
He's angry.
Well, you gotta tell him to calm down a little bit in practice. He doesn't like being touched. We're thudding up and he can't lower his shoulder and different things like that. So you love seeing that in a running back. He's a tough.
William and I and Bridget DeVries spoke to his mother. His mother is a professor at UK. Yeah. We spoke to her class last year. It's a sports management class, and we spoke to them, and that was quite a treat. Max is from a good family. We know that. But I tell you what, I want to ask you before you get away. I got to ask you, Coach, who is number 11 that made that catch for you? He made an unbelievable catch down the sideline, one-handed.
That is Jackson Kreitzer. So he came over from Henry Clay. He came Christmas time around last year. He's got outstanding ball skills. So excited to watch him on Friday nights to see what he can do.
Yeah, I am too. Well, we appreciate you, Coach Charles, and Coach Nick Bosch from Lexington. We appreciate you coming in. We got 2 more guests. We got to give them some time too. What time you got, Coach?
22.
Yeah, we'll give them some time. We want to give you guys plenty of time, and it's going to be a great season. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the Eagles, and looking forward to the Knights, and look forward to high school football.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's get it. It's here.
Yeah, it's here.
We're in game plan week right now.
Right.
Thank you for all y'all do for us.
Thank you, Coach, and we appreciate it. That's Coach Doug Charles of Lexington Christian and Nick Bosch from Lexington Catholic. We'll be right back with more on the Coaches Show from Rafferty's Restaurant. Tell them what Rafferty's. Tell them what it is.
The special was yours.
Yes. Thank you, Coach. We'll be back.
Kids deserve the space to grow, to play, to explore. And if they get sick or hurt, they deserve a hospital devoted to them. This is our promise, the most advanced care possible, with doctors, nurses, therapists, and surgeons who specialize in getting kids back to simply being kids again. We are UK Healthcare's Kentucky Children's Hospital. And for us, the power of advanced medicine is more than saving lives, it's saving lifetimes.
Neighbor helping neighbor. At Whitaker Bank, we believe in giving back to our communities. Through our many sponsorships, we help provide our fellow Kentuckians with family-friendly fun and events, and scholarships to help students reach their dreams. We're invested in Kentucky, and more importantly, in you. Whitaker Bank understands our communities and its people, because we're from here. Whitaker Bank, uniquely Kentucky.
If you're dealing with a sports injury, UK Healthcare Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine is here to help you get back on your feet. Ranked as high performing by US News and World Report, the same physicians who take care of UK athletes are here to offer expert sports medicine care for you and your family. UK Healthcare Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine, official healthcare provider for the KHSAA.
Same MRI, same CT scan. Same items, different prices. So why would you pay more for the same thing? Lexington Diagnostic Center and Open MRI can save you 30 to 60% compared to the costs of local hospitals. We have a state-of-the-art facility in the Lexington area. We believe that every patient deserves the best in affordable, quality care. Avoid surprise billing. Come to Lexington Diagnostic Center. Imaging focused on you.
They say that being a Kentuckian makes you unique. At Whitaker Bank, we agree. We've always been unique. Whitaker Bank understands our communities and its people because we're from here. Kentucky owned, Kentucky based, always has been, always will be. Yeah, you could say we are a unique bank, and we're proud of it. Whitaker Bank, uniquely Kentucky.
Before cheering on the Cats at Reps, we always make sure to stop at Clark's Main Street Market for all the essentials. Return, refresh, refuel.
Same shoes, same mixer, same computer, same items, different prices. So why would you pay more for the same thing? Lexington Diagnostic Center and Open MRI can save you 30 to 60% compared to the costs of local hospitals. We have a state-of-the-art facility in the Lexington area. We believe that every patient deserves the best in affordable, quality care. Avoid surprise billing. Come to Lexington Diagnostic Center. Imaging focused on you.
PrepSpin would like to thank these amazing partners. Mingy Beef Jerky, the official game day snack of PrepSpin. UK Healthcare Sports Medicine. Whitaker Bank, uniquely Kentucky. Clark's Pump and Shop, return, refresh, refuel. Hallway Feeds. Atkinson, Sims, and Commode, PLLC. Axia Women's Health, Lexington's Women's Health. The BIM Group. Crown Trophy. Howard Real Estate. Ken's Autos over in Paris. Jimmy's Kentucky Roadshow. Lexington Diagnostic Center and Open MRI. New South Professional Wrestling. Rafferty's. White Greer and Maggard Orthodontics. Hello Garage of Central Kentucky. And by the Scholastic Ball Report, celebrating 20 years on TV.
Garage, a total nightmare.
Welcome back to the Coaches Show. We're at Rafferty's, here at Rafferty's Restaurant with a special.
It's you.
Right, it's you. Wes Johnson, our good friend from Dunbar, John Lawson from Lafayette, two coaches, and we've had all the coaches on tonight. And your thoughts up to this point, Coach?
Very good. It's excellent. I think that it's good for them to talk about their program a little bit. It's good for Prep Spin, the publicity. But I think from what went on last year, got a lot of comments from the community that watched it, and we're really good to hear this. And then Jared Peck, we interviewed him early about his articles today. I don't know if you saw the paper in today's paper, but it was wonderful. Got first page of the Herald Leader today. It was excellent.
There it is.
I'll have to check that out.
It was a super article about high school football.
Top 100 players. And let's get right into it here, coaches, if you don't mind.
Yes,
Wes Johnson and John Lawson. Talk to us about last season and the positives or negatives, and it will impact your team this year, you think?
For us, I feel like we had a great year. We really had a tough schedule. We started off 1-4, I believe, but all those losses were to regional final teams or better. We had really competitive games in Madison Central, and for that game to go into the regional championship, and we lost by 3 points and came up about a foot short on 4th and 3 and ended our season. I was really proud of our guys. I think that we've shown a lot of mental toughness the last few years. With that schedule. I thought we competed pretty well against Woodford, Scott, and Douglas. I thought we did a good job last year, and we just take personal wins from those losses, and really kind of keep our heads about us and attitudes positive. We knew those were going to be tough games, and it really kind of helped us for the road ahead. And I was proud of those guys, and we finished as good as I think we could.
And Coach Lawson, Philip Hawkins at Bryan Station told us he opened up with a tough loss to Douglas, and he felt like that this team really bought in and really played hard. They were undefeated Trinity in the playoffs because he said they learned so much from that loss.
Absolutely, yes, sir. Definitely with my program as well. We had a pretty tough schedule last year too.
Yeah.
We learned a lot as well, but it was smaller steps for us taking those as far as what we were learning. We had a bunch of guys that just needed to learn how to fight, have a little grit, have a little attitude till the end of the game, because the road that those guys have taken for the last 3 or 4 years has been really tough, and a lot of them haven't got the fruits of their labor yet. Like, they may work hard, but they haven't seen the light at the end of the tunnel with that. And so what we're gaining now with that is the fact that these guys are working hard, and they're understanding that their time is coming. Their good road is coming at some point. And if they keep working hard, that they will be successful as well. And so, yeah, we've learned a lot from last year, but we also learned we just got to get a little better every day.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that before. A person like you that we know from the past, your attitude and et cetera is going to really build this program up. I guarantee you that. I'm really happy that they hired you on that staff there. Lafayette has had a history of good football, and then they had a little downswing, but don't let that record last year change what you do.
Coach, you said that 2 NFL linemen, let's see, Jedrick Wills and the big guy, who was the big guy, and they also had a quarterback named Walker Wood. So Lafayette had some really good talent back then, and they went to the state championship. So anyway,
yeah, that's fine, but still, the leadership up top is really what matters.
I repeat, 2 NFL linemen on one team.
If you could describe your coaching style, what would it be?
For me, it's all about expectations, attitude, and positivity. Like, I bring the energy, whether they bring it or not. And what I've taught my young team is they need to match me with that every time. So if they're not feeling it that day, they're going to feel it, because I'm going to help them get there. Mm-hmm. And I just have to lead by example. Like, I don't give up, they don't give up. I have a positive attitude, they have a positive attitude. So we always move forward. We always fall forward no matter what happens. So we have no regrets. If something bad happens in a game, we have no excuses. We just make sure we keep moving forward. And as long as I present that as well as my coaches, the kids buy in.
I mean, I wish I had some eligibility left after.
I know you're
that.
ready to you're ready to lace it up. You're ready to put that helmet on, aren't you?
There you go.
That's good, John. It really is. And what about you? Your coaching style?
You know, I think we're very similar. I bring a lot of energy. I coach from a very, I think, a positive viewpoint. I bring just with our kids, we focus on being positive to each other. That's one of the big things that I've seen, and also have really honed in on the last couple of years. That I don't know whether it's YouTube or whatever they're watching or whatever they're doing, but their interactions with each other a lot, if you really listen to what they're saying to each other, are not positive. And so we really call that out, and we really want them to be good teammates to one another and have a good energy on our sideline. You're not going to hear a bunch of coaches yelling and screaming and doing all that. I mean, we will in terms of excitement, but we're not digging into them in a personal way. I think it's one of those of uplifting and family. Mm-hmm. And are we all gonna see eye to eye and love each other? We love each other all the time. But
Yeah.
do you have sometimes little squabbles or
Sure
tension in a family? Yeah. Yes, you do. But we work that out. And but positivity is where we're coming from with our program, and encouragement, and uplift one another, coaches, players, etc. Yeah.
Coach, you and Ben went out to Dunbar practice a couple of weeks ago,
Yep.
and you had a good experience. Tell us about that experience out there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. Coach allowed us to come out, and I spent about 30 seconds talking, and Ben spent about 3 minutes. And
well, he's the Army guy. I mean, he's the Navy guy.
Air Force.
He's
a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Air Force.
Air Force, that's right.
He's CEO of a hospital in San Antonio, Texas. And one of the things that I don't know if you know this, but those guys that played back then, they're all over Dunbar. They just want a good program. They want to win. They get excited.
Dougie Allen.
Oh, all those guys, and they talk to each other all the time on the internet, and it's really neat. But I appreciate coming there. But what I saw a couple things, other than the X's and O's stuff. What I saw was a bunch of coaches that cared about the kids, and I mentioned this. There was a little freshman in the back. I know his freshman, he had a different colored jersey on, and they were kneeling down after practice while we were talking to him. And he got sick, and coach said, don't throw up on the turf. Go to grass. Go over to the grass. And he kind of wandered over to the grass. And one of the coaches, and I don't expect you to leave your team, but you had a coach, and he got up and he walked over and stayed with the kid, put his arm around him and stayed with him. I noticed that right away. Yeah. That means a lot, and that means a lot to me to see that. And then the other thing I noticed was how organized you guys were coming on and off the field. In fact, at one time, they were walking, maybe just a fast walk on the field, and he made them come back and go again. You can't have that.
Yeah.
So
that's right. Yeah, we expected, for them to have a sense of urgency between the lines. Change our demeanor from the locker room to the field. I mean, all seriousness when we come out of that locker room. All that goofiness, all that stuff stays inside. There's a new face you have to put on, and it's one of intentionality. And we talk a lot about intentionality in our program, and the fact that if you can kind of wander through life and you can let life happen to you, or you can plan your work and work your plan. And when we plan the work, we expect them to work the plan. And those lines. That's a. I know this is a cliche, but you have those battle lines. You cross that line and you go into that zone. We expect you to hustle on and off and be all about business while you're out there. And so that's been a mindset that's taken a while to be established there. But on the lines of you guys coming. And I think that's the other thing that kids don't understand these days, and I tried to get with you guys coming. I had a couple other former players come talk to the team, is that you're just not playing for yourself. You're not playing just for your senior class. You're playing for the pride of everyone that went to this school. I mean, 1600 Man o' War Boulevard means a lot to a lot of people. And there was a lot of work that came into this, and a lot of coaches, hard work and effort. And you have to, you have a little bit of weight on your shoulders to make those people proud. And not only there's going to be years where you don't win. I mean we don't recruit, so I mean you get who you get, and so sometimes you're going to be up, sometimes you're going to be down. But there's a level of character and how you handle yourself in and out of the classroom and in the community that can make them proud as well. And so I just wanted them to understand that there's somebody in San Antonio, Texas that played quarterback for that group that is watching them. Yeah. And is keeping up with who they are.
Coach Lawson, your Lafayette team, you can remember back to those great teams that went to state tournament, state championship with Walker Wood. I know Walker's been working with quarterbacks here. That you work with your quarterback, and you've had some great players at Lafayette. I'm sure you've had them back to talk to your team.
Oh, absolutely. Every chance we get, we have people come back and talk. Walker's been present a lot lately before he took on his new gig at UK, and I think just his presence alone, his voice, his work ethic while working with the young guys have presented a whole different attitude for the quarterbacks. We do have 3 or 4 quarterbacks this year. We're still trying to select that right dude at this point, but they're figuring it out, and that's what's important. And as we continue to grow, I think for my team, they have decided this year that they're going to meet that expectation. They're going to challenge themselves. They're going to be better every day no matter what. And as Coach was just talking about the battle lines, we serve energy. We do everything fast. So discipline and the small details are so important. So if their toes are not on the line, if they take their helmet off just before they get to the sideline, there will be, I don't want to say a consequence, but there will be a happy reminder that this is not what we do.
Just a little tap.
Little reminder that, if you want to be better, you want to be great,
That's right.
You have to be able to do this all the time. It's got to be consistent. It's got to be part of your DNA. And if you can get that in you and you start to believe in why you're doing what you do, then your purpose is greater. You are more impactful as a player if you can figure out your why, and that's what we're challenging them at right now.
Have you seen more kids coming out for the football maybe than the last year or two that didn't come out that were great athletes in basketball or some other sport at Lafayette?
I say overall, no. I'm going to say last year I had 100 kids out because everybody thought, hey, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
This year they realized it's business.
Mm-hmm.
We're putting in the work, and we've had kids transfer out. We've had kids quit. We have just what we need right now. Now, I will say last year we did take a couple basketball players that came out and played. Jack, is a basketball Ackerman that played basketball for us. He's now playing football at Georgetown College. He gave himself another opportunity to get a scholarship. And so I try to talk to kids about that too. It's okay to play 2 sports. They get so locked in on playing just that one sport. Yeah. And some guys, I think they may be great basketball players, but when you're 5'4", sometimes you got a better chance being a running back than a point guard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you got to realize that.
Look at Deuce Vaughn, the kid playing for Dallas now. He's tearing up the NFL in his preseason.
Right.
He's 5'5".
Right. There's opportunities there if they believe in it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let's talk about the schedule a little bit.
Okay. Tell us, Coach, about your schedule, Lafayette. Who do you open up with?
We are opening up with Oldham County. We play them at Henry Clay and the Bowl, Mingy Bowl, maybe. I'm sure that's what it's called this year. But yeah, we'll be playing them next week at 6 o'clock. They had some struggles last year as well as we did. But we're looking for the opportunity. I think as long as we focus on what we need to do as a team, that's what's important. It's not our schedule. It's not who we play. It's all about us. And if we continue to believe in us and keep doing what we need to do to get better every day, we will be successful in the end.
Coach, how about your schedule at Dunbar?
Yeah, so we open up at Connor up in northern Kentucky this Friday. A little road trip up there.
Hebron,
Kentucky. There's a lot of good football in northern Kentucky, and they always play scrappy. They're hard hitters. They're well coached. They've got some new players out. I know Connor does this year. Got a really good quarterback, a really good running back, a nice receiver, some good-looking kids. When you travel an hour and a half away on the first week of school, there's all kinds of challenges that arise at that first game. But we're looking forward to it. We're a work in progress, and to be honest with you, I always say we have 6 scrimmage games before it matters, and I know we want to win them all, and that's great. But there's really only 3 games that matter in the whole season, and that's what you play for, and that's what you're trying to get better for. You want to win some on the way, and sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But if all it is about getting better, like Coach said, you concentrate on you and how be the best version of Dunbar Bulldog football in 2023 we can be. And at the end of the day, and we talk a lot about this aspect of this, is you have your goals, but your eyes can't constantly be on the goal. If you're hiking Everest, your eyes can't be on the peak. Right. Your eyes have to be on your right foot, right foot, make sure you don't slide down the mountain. And I think that's what we try to tell our kids is, we have our goal, we know where we want to go in our destination, but if you concentrate and do everything possible every step of the way, then you have to surrender the outcome. If you put all the work in and do everything you can, you have to surrender what the outcome will be at the end of the year. And a lot of times you look up and you look at that final scoreboard and you're happy with where you are. But if you do everything you can to get there, you have to just be okay with what happens when you put in all your maximum effort.
Who are your non-district games?
So we have Connor, Mercer County, and the Woodford Bowl.
Yeah, we're carrying that game, by the way. We just found out today. We talked to Dennis Johnson. We're going to do your game with Mercer, right, and then Woodford's game with Simon Kenton.
Yeah, looking real forward to that. That's going to be a great atmosphere. Everybody knows. Everybody in Woodford County comes out. Everybody in Mercer County comes out for those games. Simon Kenton will travel well. We're close by, so we'll have a good fan base. So that'll be a fun environment to be in, that's for sure. Then we have Collins at home, and then we'll go to Boone County and Shelby County.
Boone County.
Yep, go to Boone County.
I'm an old Boone County guy.
Oh yeah. So we'll go up there this year and play them, and then we'll have Simon Kenton at home before we hit the district play, and then we'll have Tate's Creek.
But I tell you one thing, number 37, Sean Alexander, will not shoot up
won't
on.
Be there.
So you'll have a good shot up against Boone County.
Yeah, that's true.
You remember?
Why are you looking at me?
Because I think
we were 90% of his highlight reel.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Coach and I talk about that, but it's fun to play that game, number one, because it is an old school rivalry.
Yeah.
I remember Boone County in my days. I remember Boone and Dunbar going at it. I remember Sean Alexander.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun, and I know Bryson Warner up there.
Yep.
I've known him since his Ryle days when we played. I played him at West Jessamine. We went there. He went, and I've known him for a while. And a lot of the teams I play have to do with relationships that I've built with coaches, and I love to go different places to play. So I love taking my team to Louisville, Northern Kentucky, bowl games, give them a little bit of a fun trip along the way, have their experience. We talk a lot about the high school experience, and I think the schedule is part of that, in terms of giving them some experience and some fun.
Yeah, no kidding.
And Coach Lawson, how about your schedule? How do you feel about it this year?
I feel pretty good about it. I think, again, we're in a place where we're just looking to improve every game and every time we go out and play. So we'll start off, we'll travel to Henry County. Then we'll have Connor DeSalle at home. We'll go see West Jessamine. We have Louisville Moore. Then we play our district. We get Henry Clay, Tates Creek, and Dunbar. Then we'll finish with East Jessamine. I'm just excited that our guys get to compete, and be in a situation where we can be competitive in every game, so we can learn a lot more about ourselves, build our confidence, and continue to grow the program for sure.
Yeah, this second year is really important for you.
Absolutely.
Because of that,
Absolutely.
You got to get them. They got to get some confidence and realize they can win. Buy into your program, and then you're on your way.
Yes, sir. And I think the biggest part of that has been, when I officially got the nod, I told all the kids and the coaches and admin, what name you, I said, look, this is the second phase. It's going to be different now. Last year we were trying to survive somewhat.
Well, you were in a tough situation. Ethan Ashley took the job and then bolted for some reason. That was crazy. And we like Ethan, but you lost, and then you had to come in. You came into a really tough situation.
Yeah, I was swimming the whole time trying to get there. But I got my head above water now. I got things in place. Things are getting implemented. My coaching staff is great. We're doing what we need to do to get these kids prepared, and they're excited. They're really excited. We have 2 pretty good scrimmages up to this point, and they've built some confidence, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, to tell you the truth, and I'm looking forward to you two playing each other.
We both are, Coach. We're big. As you know, we're big high school football fans.
Yeah.
I call basketball, I do baseball and all that, but my favorite by far is high school football. Yeah. You guys know that. Coach knows that. And I'm looking forward to seeing Dunbar this year. We got you in that bowl game we told you about. We'll get Lafayette on down the road. We got joined against Tate's Creek last year. We hope to do another game this year. Okay. That's the thing about William Moorfield. We try to be as equitable as we can be on our broadcast, but we can go where they want us,
Yeah, that's
if
true.
somebody doesn't, I'm not saying there's a school don't want it, but if somebody doesn't give us the rights, then we won't do it. That's just how it is, and we're just looking forward to the season
And
this
a
year.
lot of times that doesn't have anything to do with the head coach.
That's right.
There's a pay grade above you that makes those decisions.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And
Yeah.
But going back just 1 second to the schedules, and I probably can agree. John and I can agree. When the last few years, I could look at the schedule and look at 3 or 4 games maybe and say, man, it's really tough for us to win that game. I mean, me as personally as a coach, I mean, you think and you look at your schedule, and this year I think that our schedule is one where there's not one that I think we can lose. There's also not one I think we can definitely win. But I'm going in with a chance in all of them, and I think that's a difference. I mean, I know there's something to you play these tough teams and everything like that, but you have to understand where you are. I think there's got to be some sort of awareness about where your program is, the kids you got coming back. I've lost 65 players over the last 3 years, or close to that. I've had 25, 23 seniors every year for the past 3-4 years, and it takes a toll because they're just not flooding in. When I have a program of 9 through 12 of 70 players, as a 6A program, that's the same number Southwestern brought to me Friday in their 5A.
Douglas told us he's got 148 kids out.
I have nowhere near that, and wouldn't have. Be honest with you, would love some of them, but I'd love to have more.
I would tell you, I went by Jesse Clark the other day, and they were practicing. And I want to tell you, those kids are big. I thought they were a high school team. Yeah. That was Jesse Clark. So you got some good kids coming your way to both.
He's got them coming.
That'd actually be mine.
I've got mostly Beaumont. So
okay, Jesse Clark's.
Yes.
They're coming, Coach.
They've got some good-looking kids too. Yeah. We do have good feeders coming up, but I think the number of kids that play anymore has dwindled a little bit. It's if you run an easy program, you can get them out.
Yeah.
But somebody asked me, Coach, do you have cuts? And I said, I practice at 6:30 in the morning all summer long. That's all I need. They'll if they want to play, they'll be there.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to play, then they're not getting up at 6:30.
So in a way, you do have cuts.
Because at some point, if you don't invest much, it doesn't hurt much.
Right.
Right. So if it's easy, then the losses don't bother you.
Well, Coach Meehan and I say that if it was easy, what we do, they'd be lined up around the Rafferty's parking lot, wouldn't it, Coach?
Right.
I mean, it's not easy to call a game. Just come in there and sit down, watch the game, see how you can do. But anyway, you guys make it fun. We enjoy it. And Coach, these are two of the big reasons why we do high school football.
Absolutely. I'm just proud of both of you guys, and I wish you all the luck, and it's going to be a good year in high school football in Lexington, Kentucky. I think all the way around. It's going to be an exciting year.
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
It will be.
And I've known him before his head coaching stint here at Lafayette, and he's a good guy, man.
Yeah, I know.
When they hired him over there to be the intern, I texted him. I was like, man, it was a very great hire. They hired the right guy, and I think that's something different in our district, to be honest. I think all of our coaches have good relationships. We all root for each other when we're not playing against each other. Yes. There's one game where we want to beat each other. But I really feel like we have a good relationship outside of that rivalry, and it's special, really, because that's not everywhere.
And when you first got that job, one thing that I said was, are you gonna settle here? Yeah. Are you have a family? Do you want your family to go to school here in Lexington and so on? Yeah. Because it wasn't like that for many years. No, it's been what, an average 2 years.
Yeah, I'm the 10th coach in 20. When I was hired, I was the 10th coach in 20 years.
Wow,
it's crazy.
That's just crazy. And I do appreciate the mutual respect that we have for each other. I'm glad you guys did have us on together because we do have a history prior to this actual encounter. And it's just been fun watching him over the years, even when I wasn't coaching high school football for a couple of years, and watching his program grow. And then just the support. Like I said, we talk back and forth all the time. So even if we have a kid that's on the fence that can go either way, we're like, Coach, if you want him, he's yours. Like, we have that kind of love for each other. You know what I'm saying? Like,
does he live on this side or live on that side of the fence?
I know. And if you give him, hey, good luck, make him the best dude ever, you know. So, but we have fun with that. And just one thing to bite on what he said a minute ago, just I have the biggest school in the state of Kentucky, attendance-wise.
Yep.
I probably have one of the lowest numbers of athletes out playing football. And that people look at me like, you don't have enough kids. But he hit the nail on the head. Kids don't play the way they used to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a problem right now with young people with instant gratification.
Right.
If they don't get what they want right now, if they don't get that win right now, they run. They don't believe in loyalty. They won't believe in working hard. They don't believe in fighting to the other end. They don't believe in pushing through. And the ones that you do have that, then you're successful with that group. But they flood out. They flood out for the pretty thing on the other side, and I think that's sad for overall of most programs. But we're going to keep rolling forward. We're going to take the kids that want to be there, and we're going to make them the best they can be.
Well, I think both programs, I know Coach Johnson, I've known him a long time. I know the job he does and the job you do, Coach. I've known you a while. So we know they're in good hands. We appreciate you guys coming out. We really do. It's been so we gave him extra time, Coach. It's worth it, though.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Coach Johnson and Coach Lawson. Appreciate you. Have great seasons this year.
Thanks, sir.
Stick around a couple minutes. We've got something we want to talk to you about. Sure. This has been the Coaches Show. We're from Rafferty's. We thank Rafferty's Restaurants out here for having us out. Rafferty's were the special as you. People are probably sick of hearing me say that, aren't they, Coach?
No way. They're happy to hear.
They're one of the sponsors on this classic ball report. Also with William Moorfield, the King of Stream, on Pret Spin, and Pret Spin will be at your ball game this year. Basketball, baseball, but of course football. We're at Highlands and Lexington Catholic next Friday night. Kicks off at 7:30. Coach, you getting ready for that game?
I'm fired up.
I'm working on my charts. I got all my charts working. You know how I do it, Coach.
Yep, you're always organized, Gary.
Well, got to chart it out. Thank you, Coach Lawson.
Thank you,
and
sir.
Coach Johnson.
Appreciate you having us so much.
That's the Coach's Show, and we thank you for being with us tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. For the King of Stream, William Moorfield, and Mike Meehan, this is Gary Ball. So long, and join us for high school football this fall.
If you're dealing with a sports injury, UK Healthcare Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine is here to help you get back on your feet. Ranked as high performing by US News and World Report, the same physicians who take care of UK athletes are here to offer expert sports medicine care for you and your family. UK Healthcare Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine, official healthcare provider for the KHSAA.